up and running now.
All right.
Super
I'm coming
fun.
through and all that.
I'm checking right now.
Oh, yeah,
Checking
there we
right
go.
now. Takes a
Still says
minute
upcoming.
to.
Oh, no, there it goes. There it goes. Okay, it's showing us live.
Yeah.
Testing. Sibilance. One,
There it goes.
sibilance
Okay,
two,
it's showing us
check
live.
one.
Yeah.
Testing.
Yep, we're all coming through.
Oh, okay, right.
Yay.
I'm wrong about that.
Did you
Very good.
know? Did you know Carrot Top and Gallagher had like a long-standing relationship and had beef with one another?
Oh, really?
You know who Gallagher is, right? The guy who did the watermelon,
Yeah,
obviously. Like, yeah. And then
yeah.
there's Gallagher too, as TOO as well. Was his brother doing shows? You know, his brother
yeah.
originally did shows because Gallagher asked him to and gave him the permission in the show. Did you know that?
I thought I remember hearing something about that. Not much, though. Are they twins, or do they just kind of look alike?
I think
Do
they
they
just
both
kind of look alike.
look vaguely? Do they both vaguely look like Super Mario?
I don't think they're twins. I think they just kind of look alike. But I was watching a little podcast thing with Carrot Top. It's like a little snippet from another podcast with Brennan or something like that. And Gallagher's manager was Carrot Top's neighbor when he was growing up.
Oh, okay.
So when he was 13, he wrote a joke for Gallagher that he thought was funny. And he got to go see him in one of his shows and actually tell him, like, meet him backstage and tell him the joke before Gallagher was massive. Like, he was big, but not that big yet. He was on the way up.
Right.
And Gallagher liked his joke and did the joke on the stage and gave him credit for it. And, like, he didn't, like, steal it or anything like that. And then they would keep in touch a little bit through the manager and stuff. And apparently he would, occasionally write a joke for Gallagher to enjoy. Right?
That's interesting.
And so this inevitably led to Carrot Top wanting to be a comedian and going through the process of being a comedian. And, then Carrot Top gets the Tonight Show. And everybody's like, what the fuck? How did this happen? Because he went from basically doing like open mics to the Tonight Show. There wasn't a whole lot of space in between.
Doggone.
And Gallagher got really upset and jealous because suddenly Carrot Top's, massive out of nowhere, seemingly with no work, and Gallagher put in, and Gallagher got pretty massive, but not as big as Carrot Top did. And Gallagher, like, he's still touring now, like, as far as I know.
Oh, come on, up. Stay.
But he got jealous of Carrot Top, and that's when he gave his act to his brother and had his brother go do it as Gallagher too. TOO, as in Gallagher also.
Yes.
And,
I understand.
I more times than would be feasibly an accident. Places where Carrot Top would have shows after that, Gallagher too might show up to try to, get of that, draw some of that, crowd, feed off of it, kind of thing. Little competition thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then eventually there was a point at which Gallagher wanted to schedule a show, and Gallagher too had already scheduled there. And the venue was like, well, we're not going to just cancel. We can't just, like, that's not how it works. Like, we don't just throw someone out because you're not happy with them.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then, Gallagher told his brother to quit or to drop the show, and his brother wouldn't do it. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then that's why they ended up suing one another, or he ended up suing his brother.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Or did they have just a verbal agreement that he could do the act, and then
who knows? Yeah. They didn't go into detail, but I'd love to see a fucking documentary where somebody really legitimately finds all the real, as many of the facts as you can get, and corroborates as much of the story with as many people as they can still around now, Because I'm sure, like, the
Gallagher's
manager, the manager's, friends or something like that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that know what happened.
Yeah. Although, Gallagher's a pretty contentious guy anyway.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Like, he seems really bitter about the fact that he's no longer super famous. Like, he had a really good run. He must have made a shit ton of money.
For a comedian, yeah, I don't understand how you would be upset by that.
He was doing the Mark Maron's, the WTF podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked out after not very long a period of time. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but I just remember Gallagher was like talking about how like when he goes on tour, he'll go to like the university wherever he's at, and he'll talk about physics with the physics professors and like weird shit like that. And then I can't remember what Maron said to set him off, but it didn't seem like it was something that was walkout worthy. I'll just say that, as far as I remember.
It sounds like Gallagher just had to feel important and wasn't feeling important anymore.
Yeah. Dude, but I mean, what the fuck? You gotta fucking... Oh, damn it. I didn't mean to post that twice. Damn it. I thought I... Sorry. I don't know if you saw that clip, that little 15-second clip of the dogs catching the chicken. The little chicken chunks.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I put the picture. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the slow-mo and them catching it on the first try that's just oddly satisfying to me. I mean, it all looks pretty entertaining.
Oh, and you got the Gallagher walks out on Mark Maron thing. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to post, and I realized I hit save to watch later instead of, share. So,
yeah.
I posted the previous thing I had went to share, which was the dog chicken thing. But there, and now all wrongs have been righted. And the Gallagher walks out on...
Yeah, Gallagher seems to have had a lot of unhappiness towards the end of his career till now. Like...
Yeah, it's a lot of bitterness and resentment, for sure.
Which is a shame, because I fucking love Gallagher. Like, I can still go watch his old bits. The old specials that are out there. I'll still go watch those every so often. And I still giggle and laugh and enjoy them, so I mean...
Yeah, no, he was a funny dude, man.
Yeah.
An entertaining guy.
I think prop comedy is probably harder to get.
Stay up.
Yeah, exactly. I think prop comedy is probably harder to do and get big than any other kind of comedy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, if you made it big as a prop comedian, like that's
go around.
That's a pretty big thing. And it used to be like a fun joke that people would play if their friends were too dumb to know who Gallagher was. Take them to a show and not warn them to bring like a trash bag or something to hold up to stop the watermelon chunks.
Stop. Stay. Sorry, my puppy's getting fucking wound around this pillar. Okay. Yeah, I've taken to, like, if I have them out front, I have to fucking, like, tie the leash, like, it's a retractable, one of those retractable leashes.
Yeah.
So I'll get out a certain amount, and then I, like, wrap it around my leg and, like, loop it, so...
Because so there's like a tether of how far he can go.
Yeah, because I would normally just hold it, but then I'm like playing a game and smoking or doing whatever, and he has a tendency to just fucking bolt if he sees like a cat or something. It's just fucking instant, dude. And like if you don't catch it in like a tenth of a second, he's fucking gone with the retractable leash just fucking dragging after him. So now I wrap it around my leg, and then again kind of loop it around so if he bolts, it just basically tugs on my leg a little.
Yeah.
Or a lot, depending on how much of a head of steam he manages to get up.
Yeah.
And the fucker gets up to high speed pretty goddamn quick.
Yeah, dogs have 4 legs. That's a lot of get up and go real quick.
Yeah, you can get up to top speed much faster with the 2 extra legs. Indeed.
What was it? I was watching like a thing of little clips of weird shit that people put up on the internet, and there was one where there's this guy is dumb as fuck is approaching a bear with his dog, like he's gonna have his dog go for the bear, and you're just like, well, I'm glad the dog could run faster because that's a real dumb fucking plan. Like, your dog's gonna take out the bear, buddy.
Yeah, that's fucking... Dude, why?
It's like taking a cap gun to a pistol fight, you know? Like, you were never gonna win.
Yeah, that bear... that bear gets anywhere close to him, dude. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I just hope the dog manages to get his leash out and get away quicker. I don't know. I'm sure everything was fine, but... I hope the dog got away. I don't care about the guy so much.
Yeah. That would be fucking kind of, not ideal, not ironic, fitting, I guess.
Yeah.
If it turns out they're both running, and since the dog runs faster, he gets away and the fucking, his master gets eaten.
See, that's what I figure if it went wrong, because it stops before they get to the bear. It shows like the bear turning and going, rah, and you're like, oh shit. And there's a bunch of cars in the video, so I assume they're in some sort of area where like there's people with guns and stuff. But
yeah,
it's like there was another video where some guy ran up and smacked a moose on the ass. Like,
dude, people vastly underestimate how much a moose can fuck you up, dude.
There is something about moose. That for some reason there's just a certain section of the population whose brain just short circuits and goes, nah, they can't do nothing. Like,
yeah, well, I think it's the goofy way they walk and like run or trot or whatever. Like, they look goofy, dude. They look, you know what I mean?
Like, goofy, but I wouldn't say it to their face.
They're fucking huge. And they've got
exactly, like a half-ton fucking animal. You just not uncommon to find a 1,000-pound moose. I ain't fucking with no moose.
Yeah, and their fucking antlers are like thick. They're not like just little fucking tree branchy things, dude. They're fucking super thick. Like, how do you not realize the size of the animal? Well, again, it's that. They really do look goofy as fuck. So I assume that's a big part of it. The rest is probably Bullwinkle. Probably Bullwinkle's fault.
Oh yeah. Well, like, herd animals are dangerous. Like, I think people don't respect that enough. Like they bring alpacas over, and alpacas are fine where they are. They know how to run away and deal with all the predators over there, but they don't get like foxes or wolves over where alpacas come from, right? And so like they'll prey and eat the herds. Right. So what farmers do is they'll throw some donkeys out there in with the alpacas, because donkeys just fucking kill any kind of wolf or fox they find, ever. To the point where, like, you don't want to bring your dog around donkeys. It might not be safe unless they're accustomed to dogs.
Right.
Like they'll just fucking brutally gang up and murder any fucking fox or wolf. And wolves are pretty big. Like... Yeah, that's another one that people don't seem to understand exactly how big fucking wolves are, man. Yeah, oh yeah,
they're like 6 feet long, like not even counting their tail.
Yeah, they're like easily the size of a person, like, if not a little bigger. Yeah, they're
like kind of skinny, but for how long they are, they're kind of skinny, but still they're fucking huge, dude.
Yeah, and that's just a donkey. A donkey is only 300, 400 pounds. You scale up to a fucking moose at 1,000. 1,500 sometimes. Like they're fucking dangerous as hell. That's a lot of muscle power.
I just posted a clip of the the antlers,
the bloody horns when they're getting the felt off.
They're molting. They're molting them or whatever. But yeah, look, that's a decent. That'll fuck you up. And again, they look pretty goddamn sturdy with the way they got the kind of webbing in between most of them.
Oh yeah. Like those horns are longer than you would think. Those are probably 8 or 9 inch long, like spikes on the front there, easily. Like, but then you go like maybe 12 or foot and a half on the bottom spikes. You know, so like with that much reinforcement, that's a lot of reinforcement. That's probably 8 inches of just reinforcement holding those spikes out. Because their heads are so big. That's enough to kill you many, many times over if it hits you with that. You're fucking done.
Yeah, like I said, it's gotta be.
Yeah, but you see all these videos of people running up on moose and fucking with them and getting way too close. Just like
old buffalo or fucking like bison, I guess. Everybody calls them bison now, I guess. But dude, they fuck with the bison like in the I forget what parks they are, but wherever there's a shitload of bison, they start fucking with the buffalo. And I'm like, are you fucking insane? Like, those things are all... They don't even have a neck. Like, it's just a gigantic fucking mass of muscle and shit.
Yeah. It's like dude, their fucking head pops out of a shoulder.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
Insane.
Yeah, and they're all fucking with them, and I'm rooting for the buffalo, dude. I'm like, I hope you get fucked up, you fucking moron.
Yeah, like, there is a weird human thing about that, isn't there? Where you're just like, if you were that dumb, I'm glad you're dead before you bred. Like, it's a human thing that every human thinks, feels. It's like a natural feeling of watching a really dumb person get fucking X'd. Like, it's weirdly satisfying, and it shouldn't be. Like, it seems fucked up, but it's a very real thing.
Yeah. Well, again, it's their own fucking fault, dude. So fuck them. Yeah. I mean, you can't feel too sorry for them. Like, dude, how do you not know that thing that's fucking all... I know it's shaggy... But underneath all that fucking gigantic fur thing or whatever is a lot of fucking lean muscle, dude. Like, it's just fucking yoked.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, it's like, a moose with just the muscles in its neck could lift your whole body,
Yeah. Very easily, dude.
Could lift my whole body and throw me.
Yeah, it could carry you around, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it could carry even the guys that are our size around, dude. Like, it could catch you in the webbing and just fucking hold you up, dude, and fucking goofily trot down the fucking street or whatever.
Carry you around, like a fucking trophy.
Oh, man, I want to see a shot of that. Hold on, I doubt it. It might not exist, but I want to see somebody getting carried around on a moose by its antlers, dude.
I think when you do that, you're more likely to see people riding moose, like whether it be real or fake. But good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm just seeing. I'm searching. I'm not expecting to actually
have success. Oh man! So this is my first week back from fucking my knee injury. Like, I just started this Saturday. Like, that was my first day back. So the fuckers decided to make me work 2 extra days. So instead of coming back for like a 4-day week, I'm coming back for a 6-day week. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
Dude.
So the other overnight person can take a week off just out of nowhere. They didn't tell anybody until like yesterday. When I was on my like fucking night off. Oh, dude, I was so pissed. I'm still pissed.
Shit.
It's like this bitch can't fucking...
give a little fucking heads up.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
It's like, oh, by the way...
Well, like, I was on vacation for 2 weeks, and now it's her turn to go on vacation. And it's like, no, I wasn't on fucking vacation. It was not... There was no enjoyment of having 2 weeks off. It was miserable, painful. Like, my fucking knees hurt. Until almost the very last day. Like...
Dude, my back is killing me, man. Because I watched the Grandpuppy for like... Jesus, I think it ended up being like 4 days straight. Like a day or two before Christmas until like the day after Christmas. And my back has been fucked up ever since. Like, bad. Like, when I try to get up from like sitting in the chair in my room, like it's agonizing, dude. Like, I have to. It's weird because I can like hold my like if I hold my hand on my back and like kind of support the muscles. I can get up with just a little bit of pain, but without that, god damn, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah, back pain is rough too. Yeah, believe me. I get that. That's not
Yeah, you really
fun.
realize it really fucking like hits home with the message of how much your back muscles you use that you don't realize.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh wow, that movement. Oh yeah. It turns out they're really core muscle group for almost all movement.
Yep, everything's connected to your back. Like
Yeah,
that's the central part.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I posted another one with a fucking gigantic set of antlers. I don't know if you saw that, but god damn, look at that. Like that will fuck you up.
Let's see here.
That is Jesus. I wonder how much that moose ended up weighing. Look, what are you doing?
I'm gonna open
Oh,
that.
okay, go
Oh,
ahead.
it's still small when I open it in the fucking. I hate that when the picture's so tiny I can't upscale it very easily. But even then, like, yeah, the scale of those antlers to that guy, like that guy is almost like those antlers are almost as long as he is tall. Like that's insane.
Yeah, that. Let's see if it says how big that fucking moose was, because again, just beyond the antlers, that is a fucking giant animal. Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's longer than he is tall easily, but like
Yeah, yeah.
just the horns are
That
almost
thing's
as
got to be.
long as that guy is tall, and people fuck with those animals on a regular basis like it's a funny thing to do.
Yeah, those antlers, like each one has got to be at least 4 foot across, right?
Oh
Easily,
yeah,
probably almost,
easily.
probably it's 5 actually.
Yeah,
It's close to 5 at least, I would think.
certainly looks to
I'm
be
trying to
more like
imagine him
5
going
than
across
4,
it.
unless that's an exceptionally
Yeah,
short
yeah.
man. Like I assume it's really tall grass in there, and that's why moose have such long fucking legs. It's all the grass is really high in that area where they live.
All right.
So I assume that's like a regular, like somewhere between 5'10" and 6'2" guy. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could easily see him laying in those things and just having his feet and the head barely sticking out of the
Yeah.
either end. Make a hammock out of those things. God damn.
Oh yeah. Well,
I
you know
mean,
they when you go further north, a lot of the people used instead of like grass and stuff to make huts and whatnot. They would cover their tents with hides of moose and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like
I
different
gotcha.
kind like moose and elk and deer. So like I'm sure that was like a big kill for like a tribe because you would be able to make somebody's fucking house out of one fucking moose. You know. You're like, oh yeah, well Bob and his wife have been looking to re-skin the house with some more like nice warm leather to keep them, from freezing to death in the winter time. Good thing
Oh,
we
that
got
guy
that
was 6'2",
moose.
by the way.
Oh, he is okay. You looked it up and found out about him.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Trying to see if they say how much the animal ended up weighing, because God, that thing's got to be at minimum 1,500 pounds, I would think. He might be pushing
Yeah,
a fucking ton.
yeah. And moose are massive. It's also like I don't know if you ever watched like those what was it like Maine and Alaska police kind of shows? Like there was like a
Oh yeah, yeah. I know
one
what you're
that followed
talking
like the
about. Yeah,
park rangers in like Alaska or whatever for a while, and that was a lot of fun. And you got to see the weird shit they dealt with. But like that's why I always thought
yeah.
it was like, oh, no wonder anytime somebody kills a moose or a deer or anything with their car, they're like on it, like they want you to report it immediately because like you
Yeah, they
can't
can
do
actually
that,
get
you
some use
can't
out of
keep it
it.
because it's illegal. And if they let you keep it, then everybody's going to start hitting these fucking animals with their cars by accident. So obviously that's not
Right.
reasonable. But it's still, a fucking ton of meat, so that they'll be able to like take it to charity and get it donated before it goes bad, and it'll feed a lot of fucking
Yeah,
people
yeah.
for a lot like that need that meat, like desperately need food.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. So yeah, or if they catch them poaching, like they don't have a tag or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. They're not gonna let that person keep the animal, but they don't make it go to waste. Yeah, they donate it. I love that part of that. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Because coming from an area where you don't normally get any sort of game meat on any sort of menu, like it's not in the store, it's not in restaurants or anything like that around here. Maybe if I went to like a butcher shop that specializes in butchering game meat for people, I might be able to find some or something. But it's just not super common in this area. Too big of a city for it. But it's interesting to see how big of a role that can actually play in a community where like that's one of the main sources of getting meat. And especially in the more remote areas of Alaska, because everything that you get shipped in, even if it's food, is extremely
super expensive.
So you catch a salmon. Some of those salmon are pretty big too. You might have 3 or 4 meals worth of meat that you would never be able to afford at a store there. Like not even a little,
Yeah, salmon's a good meal, man. Too.
Yeah, it's a really hearty fish. Yeah,
I like the taste of salmon.
Yeah, but it's also, I really like that it's hearty. Like if you eat a whitefish, like a cod or any of those kind of fish, like the whitefish, they're good, but they're not nearly as filling. But man, if you eat salmon, like you're good. You've eaten. You are full. Like,
yeah, that'll fill you up quick. God damn, dude, this fucking guy really likes telling a story. What the fuck? Dude, this whole time I've been scrolling through the story, and I'm still not to the point where they actually shot the fucking moose. Jesus Christ. And my thing scrolls pretty slow.
And then Mdenge led the tribe to the sacred
there's a lot of filler.
Jesus Christ, what are we doing, guys? When does the moose come into his story?
This guy's using a lot of very descriptive fucking flowery language, too. It's pretty funny. Okay, come on, god damn it.
He's a warrior poet. Oh.
God damn it.
Oh, the Epstein documents are coming out.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't really heard much specifics about it.
I can tell you 2 things that make you laugh straight away. Number 1, Bill Clinton's name is definitely on them. He was definitely one of the people going to the islands. There's no question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we knew there was like 27.
Trump definitely was not. Yeah. Trump had nothing to do with it. No question. There's 0 evidence of Trump having anything to do with Epstein. So, yeah, I thought that was some funny fucking shit right there. Stephen Hawking, apparently. I would assume, because it just came out, I would assume give it a day or 2, and you'll start getting videos where people are going to start exposing people.
Yeah.
And being like, oh,
apparently,
Mr. or Mrs., X was fucking fucking around with little kids, and it's gonna be like all over the fucking YouTube. It's gonna explode. It's like this. Some of those movie explosions where they kind of suck you in and give you a second to really get tense before they pop back out and explode. I think we're in that suck-in phase where it's like, boom, it's going to pop in a couple of days, and everybody's going to you're going to hear all sorts of bullshit stories that are total lies and a bunch that are true, and it'd be really hard to tell which one is which, because it's going to get, because that's the only disinformation you can really manage to make work in these kind of situations, to save anybody's face, is to put as many names as you can out there so that nobody knows which ones are real.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a lot of people get drugged. Yeah, a lot of people are going to get fucking accused. And it's going to be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, there was, you're probably not familiar with Aaron Rodgers, the former NFL quarterback, or I guess he's technically still playing. But
I thought he was a baseball player. As soon as you said Aaron Rodgers, I think that a baseball guy. You're like the former quarterback.
Yeah, no, he's the one.
Shit, I guess not.
Yeah, well, he's the one that remember that when they were asking him if he was vaccinated, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm immunized," because he did some other thing other than the actual vaccination.
Yeah.
And then there was like a big, huge deal about it. But anyways, I think he had said something about the Epstein list, and then I don't know if he actually mentioned Jimmy Kimmel or not. I think he must have, because Jimmy Kimmel's talked a lot of shit about him. But yeah, Kimmel got super fucking pissed. Like, just talking all kinds of shit back, and like, what are you worried about?
That's a pretty serious accusation.
Fucking cares?
Like, that's not a fucking
I know,
joke.
but
It's just like, I think that's why they tried to put Trump on the list proactively, was they wanted to keep it for, like, just, you know.
Yeah, but yeah. But yeah, at the same time though, like, freaking out like that, you're kind of like, dude, fucking relax. If you know your name's not on the list, who fucking cares?
Yeah, that's my thought. Yeah.
Freaking out.
Why are you so worried, Jimmy Kimmel? Why are you so concerned, motherfucker?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if his name is on the list. I'm curious. I don't. Yeah, and one of the things is, I really hope that a lot of these fucking lunatic lefty motherfuckers can like get to the point where they realize that there are some things that aren't about right and left, conservative and Republican, and left wing and liberal. This is one of them, dude. I don't care if the person on that list is conservative or liberal. They're a fucking piece of shit, and they need to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter which side they're on. Let's all like. What matters is it a real thing? Are they really on that list legitimately, or is this just somebody saying it? Because for one of the few times when I do not have a problem with people getting canceled for, you know, like, I don't have a problem with you saying, like, Jimmy Kimmel, you're on the list, get the fuck off our TV show. You sick fuck. Yeah, anything you're not more than on our fucking TV show anymore. Like that, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it was who would be an equivalent right wing person? Like Matt Christensen or something. If it was like Matt Christensen popped up on the list, you know, it'd be like, all right, get the fuck off the internet, dude. You know, like, it don't matter which side you're on. If it was legitimately Trump had been on the list, I'd have been done with Trump. You know, like,
well, we already kind of know. Like, he had again basically banned Epstein from any of his properties. Like,
Sure, he knew he wouldn't be on the list because he'd fucking he'd thrown that guy out of his fucking clubs as soon as he figured out what's going on. He got a ride on one of Epstein's planes because he knew the grandson of Epstein, I think, is what happened, and he needed to get to New York or something really fast, and the grandson was like, oh, you know, my grandpa's got a plane here. If you want to use it, we'll go right now. You know, trying to suck up to Trump, and then
and that's kind of the
probably
apparently that's a millionaire thing.
You know?
Yeah, it seems like some kind of odd flex where they're like, no, I'm so rich, you can just do it. I'm not even going to charge you for it.
Well, I borrow my private plane. What better way to slowly work your way into the graces of somebody to get them out to your island and to have that leverage over them from that point on?
Yeah.
And Trump had a lot of money, so there's no reason they wouldn't have taken a chance at trying to fucking be like, hey, Mr. Donald Trump, we got this island out here. It's a lot of fun. A lot of famous people coming out here. We keep it nice and secret. You ain't never heard about it, right? You know, like, I'm sure there was a sales pitch going on.
Yeah, that's
and I'm sure that's why.
Yeah, and he never actually
Epstein
went
was
to the
banned
island,
thereafter from all the fucking clubs, you know.
Yeah, and again, he never actually went to the island, right? Like,
no,
Trump
he
never
went
actually
from like
He
Florida
just
to
used
New York, something like that. New York to Florida, Florida to New York. It wasn't like a. I think it was a sales.
Yeah,
pitch.
he wasn't actually on there.
I think they were trying.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, recruit,
trying to work his way up to. Taking a trip someday later.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people where that might be the case, where the, you know, maybe they accepted a ride or something as maybe it was a sales pitch, or, you know, we do this guy a favor, he'll be interested in going to our island, we'll then have the leverage, and we'll be able to get a bunch of money from him, and, you know, all that kind of shit. So, you know, don't be surprised to see that kind of stuff too. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see if there's any fallout, honestly, at this point, because people are so polarized then I think most of the arguments is just going to be about whether or not their team is on the fucking list. You know? Like they're going to be counting fucking points or something, like that's the thing that matters. Like, oh yeah, that's what matters, is whether or not my team has more or less people. I don't care. I'm happy to see as many of the people on the list go to hell as I can. Listen, I don't give a shit about anything else. I don't care what team they're on or any of that shit. I don't care what they ate for breakfast. You know, like.
Anybody that's gone more than like once, maybe twice, but I feel like once is going to be enough for you to know what that place is about. So if you've been to that island more than once,
it's possible to have gone. I would say that is fair. You could have gone like one time, not knowing in advance quite what you were in for, not really understanding that it would be like kids and stuff, not like, because I wouldn't have a problem if it was like Hooker Island and all the women were legal. You know, like they were you know 18 plus, and they signed contracts with this guy, and they were in, like, they chose to go there. But this is like human trafficking, little kids that didn't make a choice to go there. That's what makes it disgusting.
There.
So I can understand if somebody went once and was like, I didn't realize this was a bunch of fucking little kids, and I'm never going back, and I'm never talking to Epstein again. You know?
Yeah. So, like I said, once, maybe twice, but even twice, anything like 2 and above is fucking suspicious as hell. And again, just more suspicious the higher you go. But yeah, it's, and again, they literally were just trying to, like, they're fucking taking like runaways and shit. Like, obviously people in vulnerable positions.
No, here's my thing. If you went once and you didn't try to do something about it or say something about it to some sort of authority. I still think you're sus. You know what I mean? Maybe you couldn't afford to go back too, you know? But if you didn't try to do something to stop it in some way, even a little way.
you're culpable. A
little bit sus. I mean, maybe you were afraid because this guy's got some powerful friends and you didn't want to fucking do anything or something. But like, so there's a chance you're still innocent. But I would still say any amount of times it's kind of sus going to the island.
Yeah, for sure.
Because also, they decide after they get you there once, they don't need to take you out again. You're not a big enough fish that it's worth getting more and more data or more and more evidence to hold against you if they need to blackmail you.
And
you don't have the money to make it worth their while. So I can...
I can kind of understand, like, not wanting to fucking, like, make it public yourself, but, like, at least drop some kind of anonymous hint somewhere. Like, hey, there's some
saying. Most of these people should be able to say, like, hey, look, man, I went and talked to the FBI, and there wasn't anything they could do because it wasn't on American soil. You know, like, if there's not that kind of story, I don't know that I really fucking wouldn't be very concerned about that person.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah. Again, not doing anything is fucked up in that situation.
Or maybe we'll find out the person that went once and was totally innocent was like, yeah, look, on the plane ride back, they got a guy with a gun sitting next to me the whole way, explaining how they'd find me if I fucking said anything. You know, like...
Yeah.
You know, maybe
that shit's scary, certainly. Damn, I got a bunch of silverware.
Yeah. Now, if you were like a frequent flyer, like you were Bill Clinton, you were down there every fucking weekend. You know?
And I don't think anyone's surprised Bill Clinton's on that fucking list.
The guy that raped a bunch of people while he was president. Yeah, what a fucking shocker. That's, I think, the thing people don't realize, because that whole Monica Lewinsky thing got so big, and it wasn't rape with Monica Lewinsky. She was a willing participant. But like that there were like 2 or 3 other women who were not willing participants, but had to participate anyway because he wanted them to. So, you know, like,
it's
people just sort of fucking ignored the rape and were like, yeah, but Monica Lewinsky like fucking saved their jizz stained dress. What a creepy bitch, you know, like.
Right. Yeah,
even me,
the Paula Jones one. I don't know, unless it's just he has a weird fucking type. But Paula Jones does not seem like she was not an attractive woman, in my opinion. So him
Monica
raping her
Lewinsky
seemed like
wasn't
a little
really either,
far-fetched.
honestly. Monica Lewinsky was kind of
Yeah,
ugly.
yeah, but if you're into fat chicks, and you know fucking Clinton's into fat chicks, so you get, she wasn't super fat, but she was chunky.
Oh yeah,
So that is
Monica
definitely a
Lewinsky
type
was
for a lot of
yeah,
guys.
yeah, and then Jennifer, yeah, all the women were, I think, in that same body type.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, Clinton seemed to have a similar uh, uh, preference to like black dudes, because like black dudes love to fuck fat white chicks.
Yeah, weirdly.
I think he has a similar fucking type to black dudes. So yeah, Lewinsky would have been
black dudes
fucking
really like banging fat white chicks. It's so weird. Yeah, that's very strange.
Yeah, oh, yeah, all of them. But yeah, it is funny when skinny ones wanted to. But it's all of them. They all love fucking fat bitches, especially fat white bitches or chunky white bitches. Because again, it's not like Lewinsky was like morbidly obese. But yeah, she was definitely had some extra poundage.
Well, they like some curves. I like some curves too. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not some.
yeah.
I'm not looking for a scarecrow.
Yeah, if you're. Yeah, and it's quite possible that Clinton would literally just fuck anyone. So he was like, "You've got a vagina, and I need it. So I'm going to fuck you whether you want me to or not."
Because I'm the president, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. Yeah, or when he was governor, a lot of happened when he was governor of Arkansas or whatever.
Governor, president,
yeah.
He was untouchable, essentially, in this position. Because anybody that tried to arrest him for it would be violating the law, and he would be, it's just kind of ridiculous. Because governor is one of those positions with immunity, as well as like president, where you can't be arrested or like charged with anything. Like they have to remove you from office before they can charge you with anything at all. So that's one of that's one of those things that's like a weird sort of unfortunate necessity. If you think about it. Like it sucks that it's necessary that you can't arrest a president or a governor. But at the same time, it would be really nice if you could, because if people could be mature enough to do that if it was necessary. Keep it to only because like the mayor's getting arrested right now.
Oh yeah. All right, but yeah, again,
that fucking hair is horrific.
Yeah, that's definitely fucking 80s fucking style hair, man. Jesus, the fucking fucked up decade.
It looked
yeah, so the one in the
that's the part that always gets me about.
Yeah, it did.
Hair. Even in the 80s, you were like, God, bitches look goofy. Like, you just look goofy right now.
Yeah, it was very odd. Yeah, but again, I guess the one on the left is Paula Jones. The one on the right is some actress that's playing her in some movie or something. But yeah, are you gonna rape that bitch?
On purpose?
Even Clinton, I'm like, you cannot be that fucking disturbed that he's like, no, I must have her.
Well, the thing that always gets me about the really famous people that are raping people, right, is they're the ones who you could easily afford a hooker. Like, if you're so fucking hard up, it would be nothing to just go out and purchase a prostitute. You know what I mean? You could have somebody else go out and do it. It wouldn't even be a risk for you. You know what I mean? Like, and you could get the high end ones, not like the crack whores on the fucking side of the road that look like they had their face dragged down 10 feet of pavement. Like that the rest of us can do. Because like if you or me want to go out and get a cheap whore for like $20, $50 or whatever, it's gonna be gnarly. It's not gonna be some hot looking chick like in the movies. It's gonna be like, oh, that's
it's gonna be someone who's fucking methed out or fucking nodding off on something. Yeah,
it's gonna be a big old fat,
I don't know why
ugly
this
broad
wasn't
most of the time, or a skinny little
this
fucking.
wasn't really.
Ugh.
Yeah, Yeah, this wasn't really what you were talking about, but for some reason it reminded me of a story Norm Macdonald told about like Alec Baldwin when he was at SNL like hosting one time. But anyways, like Alec Baldwin, I guess would try to pretend he's like like just one of the guys, and he'd like come in and be like, "Man, I would fucking saw off my like left arm to fuck that secretary chick. She's hot." And then fucking like Norm was talking about like, and in my head I'm thinking, "No, you're Alec Baldwin. You can probably just ask her." She'll probably fuck you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny
that actually reminds me of a story of some celebrities that I thought was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, what you got? What you got?
So, From Dusk Till Dawn, on the set of From Dusk Till Dawn, Quentin Tarantino was making that film, and it was kind of like he was just really getting famous. And Bruce Willis came down and was talking to him like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, you really making it. You're really making it. You know, this is good shit." And Quentin was like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I'm still just kind of this little fucking joke of a movie maker." Bruce Willis was like, "Nah, motherfucker. Every woman on this set would fuck you. That's how you know you're famous, motherfucker." And it's just like, and you get to hear that if you watch the I want to say that was on the and I'm paraphrasing the story, so it's not like exact or whatever, but that was essentially what was said. But it was on the what do you call it, where you watch the movie and then you have like the director's commentary, the commentary tracks on the DVD.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I used to work those graveyard shifts where I'd watch movies all night. Well, you know, at a certain point, you get really fucking bored and you've seen all the really good movies that are out and that you can find that you know of. So you start watching, like, commentary tracks on some of your favorite fucking films.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
They got a sheer boredom. You're like, all right, I'll check this out.
I want to know what Quentin Tarantino thinks about his own movie. Let's go. You know?
Oh, fuck. Although, honestly, I like the Hunter S. doing, like, watching Fear and Loathing and doing commentary. That was pretty entertaining. Because he's a fucking weirdo.
Some things it wasn't like boredom. Some things it was like, yeah, no, I absolutely wanted to fucking see that. You know, like, I was such a huge fan of Kevin Smith before he went, you know, fucking lunatic, fucking weird political stupid shit.
Loony lefty.
And he just stopped writing comedy anymore. He just started writing dog shit. I would be fine if he was loony lefty, if he still wrote funny shit. Like if it hadn't made him fucking suck. I don't give a shit about his politics. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. If he's funny, I'm still gonna watch his shit. But nah, he had to stop writing good shit. He started writing dumb shit.
Yeah, people were really pissed about how he fucked up like the He-Man Masters of the Universe cartoon or whatever remake.
Yeah,
because he basically killed off
movies. Just stopped being funny. Away. He made another Clerks movie or another Jay and Silent Bob movie where he tried to hand it off to his daughter or something weird. It was just, I don't know, man. He just stopped being funny. He stopped having any new ideas, and it was just kind of sad.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I assume he just got to a level of contentment, and he didn't. I mean, he's probably somewhat lazy to begin with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine all that.
Well, you know, he takes whatever.
And plus, just living in fucking Hollywood.
Whatever he can get paid, whatever he can get paid, he'll do. Like whatever people want to pay him to do, he'll do. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I got lucky getting in this fucking industry. I shouldn't be here. I'm gonna do whatever I can to keep getting as much money as I can to keep living this like blessed life. And so in that respect, I get it.
Right.
And hopefully he's, you know, I hope he's doing all right. I just don't want to watch his shit. You know, he's getting in shape and stuff after the heart attack, so I'm kind of happy about that and all that. But yeah, his commentary tracks were fucking great on his movies, like Dogma and Mallrats and shit like that. Like the commentary shit on those was top fucking notch. It was almost as good as watching the
I remember.
And if you were a fan at the time,
no
one had to make you watch that. You were ready for it. You know, you were, I definitely want to watch Kevin Smith and fucking all the people I love watching all his movies talk about it. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the Mallrats one. Him shit talking Gramercy Pictures or whatever. He's like, "Hey, and here's why the movie never, didn't work in theaters." And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Gramercy, no, they're again nice people, but they could not market themselves out of a wet paper bag or something like that." I'm like, God
Oh
damn.
yeah.
So like he wasn't. Yeah, he was like, "No, they're good people, but they suck as far as doing their job. They're fucking horrible."
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like he never pulled any punches. That's the part about
But it
him
was
that I
still
miss.
relatively nice. Honestly, he was still relatively nice about it. Just like, look, good people, but they didn't know what they were doing as far as marketing. Because that
Mm-hmm.
was, I don't know about you, but I fucking love Mallrats. That was my introduction. That was the first Kevin Smith movie I saw. Before Clerks or fucking whatever the fuck else was going on back then. Like, so yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, it's one of those ones where I bought it and made friends watch it. I'm like, you guys got to see this. It's fucking hilarious.
Huh.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
definitely a fan.
Let's see here. Oh, do you see the little bit about Florida elected officials quitting?
I didn't watch the video.
So there's a
was
new
something
law
about privacy concern.
started this January in Florida that requires politicians that are in elected positions to disclose everything about their financial stuff. Everywhere they're getting money from, they got to disclose it. Everywhere they're spending it, they got to disclose it. Everything has to be upfront, made public.
All right.
So a bunch of Florida elected officials were like, "This is a real invasion of my privacy," and blah, 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 blah. And they were like, "So I'm gonna step down," and everybody on every side of it was just like, "Yeah, you fucking on the take, aren't you, bitch? Good, get the fuck out."
No, I know.
Like they vastly
sure
underrated the sheer lack of concern that the average citizen would have over them leaving. They were like, "Yeah, I don't fucking care. Like, get the fuck out, bitch." Just like, goddamn.
Yeah, especially if there were ones that were like gung ho when it was about people, like the average person's privacy. But now that it's them, they're suddenly, having to take a fucking a principled stance on it. Yeah, it's a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, what did I do? I had it. Damn it. Fuck. Alright, I fucked up something. I must have sold. Did I sell it? Damn it, I had
I carry my burdens alone.
what do you call it?
Enemy sniper.
A circlet for alteration magic that I'd always carry around, and now I can't. I don't have it in my inventory anymore. What the fuck I did with it? Fuck, that sucks. Sorry, Skyrim, in case that wasn't obvious.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, it's actually not that big a deal because it was only like minor. It wasn't even like it was Peerless or one of the fucking super nice ones. But it was nice when I was doing like the transmute spell. If I had a shitload of ore, like iron or silver ore, it helped keep the cost down a lot.
Oh yeah.
What did I do with it?
There's so many tricks in that game. I wonder if like anybody ever compiled all of them into like one book.
Well, I know other playthroughs, I have absolutely gotten it to the point where I had enough enchanted shit where I could do like the detect life spell in alteration, where it literally did not use up any magicka. Like I could do it endlessly.
Oh yeah, there was it was for every school you could actually, if you did enchantment enough, you could get to a point where like you would be able to cast like one or two schools at a time with no cost. It was really weird. It was like
for sure.
trying to think. It was like, yeah, you would enchant it, and then if you had the double enchantment thing, you could like double it up so that you'd have like when I was doing the mage build, and I just wanted to be like a wizard guy, run around doing wizard shit.
Right.
I would set it up so I had restoration and destruction is like no cost. So I could just be like, oh, I'm just gonna use this like one hand, and one hand is gonna be like healing me, and the other hand is gonna be like, what do you call it?
Yeah, healing your fucking
destruction.
partner.
The other one's gonna be like a fucking fireball or something, or like a lightning or something, just to fuck everyone else up.
Yeah. Indeed.
And I found that was like ridiculous, because like if you had ultimate destruction magic, like you mastered everything, like you got to the top and you found like the secret spells where you got to go do dungeons to find the spells.
Right. Yeah, like once you get above level 90, there's like a special master
there was
for
like
each
a
one.
lightning hose that you could do, where like it was fucking insane. It was just like a fucking Kamehameha wave of fucking
crazy lightning shit.
Yeah, it was just like a fucking tunnel of death. Like it just murdered everything, and because you could do it forever, so you just run through a dungeon and just fucking destroy everything in the dungeon. It was so OP. It was way better as far as just like pure ridiculous, like unstoppable, like than the archer, the sneaky archer guy.
Oh, right.
Like it was way more than that, because it was just nothing even had a change. It was just so fucking quick.
Yeah, so if you want to, obviously you can do that, but yeah, I don't know. At least some small chance that I can lose. You know what I mean? Like if it gets to that power, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. It's fun. I mean, it's fun sometimes, obviously. But yeah, it kind of gets old pretty quick. You're like, okay, there's literally no chance. They literally have no fucking chance. All right, this is probably too much.
Yeah.
But again, it is still fun to play around with that shit. You know, it's kind of like when you do a save and then you get caught pickpocketing. You save right before you do the pickpocketing, and you get caught, and everybody's attacking you and shit. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna kill everybody and have fun with it, and then just reload the save that I took before that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's many a time where it was just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna brutally fucking murder this whole fucking village now. It's cool.
Yeah. You're like, let's see if I can get the bounty gone, because I killed every single witness to all my crimes. I love that part.
The problem is kids.
Yeah. You
can't kill kids. So if you got if you're playing with the mod that allowed you to, which I think they took off the workshop, but when it was there, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, because most of the kids suck.
Oh yeah, they're fucking irritating.
Yeah, the one kid.
They'll talk shit to you all the time,
the
and
one.
You can't fucking do anything to them. It's like, what the fuck? Why would you put that in the game? That's dumb. That's obnoxious. Part of the fun of the game was that you could just do whatever you wanted.
Yeah. There's a couple, like in Whiterun, there's that Wraith kid that's like, I'll fight anyone. You know, boy, girl, I don't care. You're like, fuck you, you little fucking brat.
Or
and
like
then the one in Dragon's Reach.
Yeah,
in Dragon's Reach, there's the one that's
my dad's better than you, motherfucker.
Yeah, he's like, another one, we're here to lick my dad. Oh, you motherfucking kid. Fuck you.
He's like, I will kill your father, your mother, everything you love in this world will be dead when I am finished with this. What do you think now? Am I licking his boots? Am I licking through his fucking boots?
Yeah.
And he'd still say it because you couldn't fucking murder him.
He's like, yeah, you gotta live through this now. They're all like, dead, but you have
Baldur's
to live the fact that
you can
run your mouth,
do whatever you want. There's no little kids that are immune. Like, there was this little kid that I saved from, like, certain death because his, like, parents were fucking murdered. And he's just hanging out in my camp before I can turn him back over to his, like, tribe of people or whatever. And I was I wonder what this scroll here does. You get this golden scroll from this weird lady, and it casts a spell on somebody, but it doesn't really say what it does. So I just used it on him and turned him into a golden statue, like, straight dead.
Nice.
And man, nobody gave a shit. No, nobody cared at all. They were all just like, well, I mean, you saved his life. It was yours to do with as you wanted, I guess.
Yeah, it was your life to let continue or not.
And in almost any dialogue option, there's always the option to be like, I'm just gonna fucking kill you. Like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna fight to the death now. And like, there may be other people that join in.
Right.
But you get to fight that person to death. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
It was very satisfying to have that option on everything.
Yeah. Although there are some adult NPCs that are kind of worth killing. Like the bitches at the Radiant Raiment in Solitude, those stuck-up bitches. Those stuck-up fucking whores.
Oh, that was always one of the places I made money, so I never paid any attention to them. Because, like, there was a lot of weird, creepy merchants.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good shit to steal.
Oh, yeah, but
they had a lot of good
for
loot
me was stealing stuff without killing anyone. It's like stealing it all and then selling it to
Oh,
them
yeah. No, I never killed it. Yeah, because there's a couple, there's a few, like, really, like, 500 plus septum value circlets beyond, like, clothes and other shit. Yeah, there's, a lot of good shit to steal from them, and then, sell right back to them. All profit. You've eliminated the overhead.
Yeah.
You just steal the shit and sell it right back to them.
Well, and also, like,
that is pretty funny.
Part of the best way to get ingredients in the game for alchemy, like certain ingredients, was to just steal them from certain merchants.
Yeah, like, the one in Whiterun actually has a lot of decent shit. Especially if you've done something for her. Once you've done something for her, you can take like almost like more than half of the shit with no problem, without even being, without even counting as theft. Like it's really just the all the ingredients really. I don't think she has any ingredients because there's some potions that if you take them, that it counts as theft. But I don't think any of the ingredients are. So yeah, that's a really good one. But pretty much any of those. Alchemists or whatever you call them. Yeah, the alchemy shops or what do you call them? Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, most of them are going to have a lot of good shit. Or soul gems, a lot of times. You get a lot of soul gems.
Oh yeah. Sometimes that was the only way you could get some of them, was to steal. Yeah,
there's the one in, the one just outside the college of Winterhold. Like in the town of Winterhold. Yeah, she's got like 6 soul gems sitting in a display case. You're like, alright, I'll take those. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I really enjoyed a lot of the theft in that game. That was part of what I enjoyed about it. It's weird that I'm like, I'm not so much interested. I tried to play a rogue in Baldur's Gate, which is the same thing like a thief. I just did not really enjoy it at all. Because I think the one thing that is painfully clear is they did not make the die rolling random in that game at all.
Yeah. Oh, so they like claim it is, but it quite obviously isn't? Like that kind of shit?
Well, there's an option called Karmic Dice that can affect your rolls, and you can turn it on or off, but I don't think it matters if you turn it on or off. Because there's just certain things that you're gonna pass every time, no matter how hard, and then there's certain things you're gonna fail all the time, no matter how easy. And it's really weird. Like there's a thing where if you steal from somebody and they catch you, they get mad and like they can attack you and stuff. And so like obviously it's really obnoxious. You don't want it. And I'm trying to think, what is it? And they do like a check, right? So like they'll say, "Hey, you fucking steal this shit, motherfucker! You fucking rob me? Like, why would you do that kind of shit?" and then you have a chance to persuade or deceive or intimidate them out of accusing you of theft anymore, right? But like, you're gonna fail. Almost every time you're gonna fail. It doesn't matter how much chance you have of succeeding. And then a lot of times what'll happen is you'll do the check, you'll succeed, and then like it'll wait 2 seconds and then do it again, and then you'll fail. Which is weird, because like, what was the point in doing it in the first place? So I think that might be a glitch, but that one is really irritating. It's way too hard to get away with it unless you're playing the Dark Urge, which is the you get to make a character and you're supposed to be evil, and it's intended for you to be evil, right? Like it's from the other perspective of working for the people that you're fighting against if you're the good guy. So it kind of railroads you into being good unless you do the Dark Urge, and railroads you into being evil if you're doing the Dark Urge instead of being good. Which I don't like. I think it should just be the option to just be good or evil is whatever you want to do. Like, shouldn't have to play one type of character or one type of game versus the other. So it's very, very fucking obnoxious.
Like, hey man, sometimes I want to be evil, and then sometimes I might want to be good.
But combat is the part where it really comes out, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I've done things that, like, I've played actual Dungeons and Dragons, and the odds of doing certain things are extremely fucking low, and I do them every time I play a session. Like, 3 misses in a row is something like a 4% chance. But, like, every time I'm in combat, I'm gonna get 3 misses in a row. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, and I'll have, like, 80% chance to hit every time, and I'll miss all 3 times. And it's like, yeah, that might happen occasionally.
Fail 3 in a row.
That might happen, like, once in a blue moon where you get that many misses in a row at that high of a chance to hit.
Yeah, it should happen 1 out of every 5 times. With those odds, it should literally happen 1 out of every 5 times at the most.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, but doing it 3 in a row, there's like this, they call it the gambler's fallacy, where it's like it's a certain amount of odds every time, and it never changes. That's not actually true. If you've already failed something, the chances of you failing it again go down, because the number of times of that happening in a row and a low percentage chance are even lower. If you're chaining things like that, that's just not real. That's not actually the same percentage every time. It actually does go down the chance that it's going to happen again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's, I mean, each individual chance out of like 5 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Technically, the odds are overwhelming that, you're going to succeed, but yeah, 3 in a row to, fail is, astronomically unlikely. It gets into like fucking
so
tens
for
of
instance,
thousands to 1 or
I
something
rolled
crazy
3 critical misses in a row, multiple times in this last play session in the last game that I'm running, and I've only been playing for like 20 hours. Like, that's insane. The odds of 3 critical misses in a row is like it's a once or twice in a lifetime fucking thing.
I was gonna say, if it's happened once, it should probably, it's almost
once
pretty
or twice in a lifetime thing. You're
again.
Gonna get critical rolls and critical 20s or 1s in a row. Like that's just really rare.
Yeah, good or bad. Yeah, high or low.
Even if you were rolling a 5 every single time, that would be fucking weird. If you rolled 3 5s in a row on a 20-sided dice, that's a pretty rare occurrence that it would all be in a row. So that's the kind of shit that keeps happening, and it's like, it's ridiculous, because, like, for instance, it's supposed to be really easy to hit a goblin. Even when you're first starting out, you can hit them really easily. You just don't hit very hard. You don't do very much damage until later levels, and then it becomes harder to hit people because and then it like becomes a scale back and forth like that. But the thing that really makes it frustrating in this game is, like, you can't hit anything. Like for some reason, the first playthrough, everything was fine. And now everything I'm doing, I miss on a slightly increased difficulty level. So I think what they did was they didn't make it random. They scaled it with difficulty.
I didn't do it for you.
And so the die rolling is just a show. It's like it's a sham. It's not real. I don't think it's actually
Yeah, it's pretty well
random.
predetermined.
Because if it was really random, then the difficulty level
get
would
random
not
results?
would not matter about your die rolls. It would have to adjust the value of the stats on enemies and stuff like that to make the enemies tougher and harder to hit. But like, it shouldn't affect the actual. If your percentage is 80% chance to hit, you should be hitting 4 out of 5 times roughly. Like over 1,000 times, you should be getting pretty much 80% hits.
Yeah,
but
it should be close to 8. Yeah, especially over a number that big, it should be very close to the 800 out of 1,000.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I've played Dungeons and Dragons, and there's no like difficulty level to Dungeons and Dragons other than what's set by the DM, and this just didn't feel random to me at all. It's like I've played with people that in really tough situations and really easy fights, and this is just not random. I don't buy it. And I am definitely part of a large group of people that agrees that it's not. It's like, nah, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, this is not the way it should work. Your alleged random chance bullshit is not random. Yeah, is that do you think it might be just like being a new game and they just fucked something up? Or do you think they're keeping it like that?
They have other games that are similar to this that they've done before. And, well, they're not Baldur's Gate, they're Dungeons & Dragons style games, like Divinity or something. And it was a similar thing where people were like, I don't buy that you made this random. Like, so, it's like a track record.
So, gotcha. So their plausible deniability is not good?
Yeah, no, it seems unlikely that it's... I don't know. I think it's pretty... I think somebody's going to do some math,
obvious.
And it's probably being done right now, and it's going to come out that it's like, nah, it's not random. They scaled it so that it would make it more difficult. Because it's like one of the easiest checks to pass in the game. A normal difficulty, like if you're trying to do something and you have to roll to see whether you succeed, is a 10. 10 is one of the easiest to get. Like, it goes lower, but rarely does it go below a 10. And so you're expected to succeed most of the time on a 10. If you're skilled in that area. So, like, the way Dungeons & Dragons works is you can try anything. But if you're really good at picking locks and one of your skills is picking locks, then when you roll to pick a lock, you also get like a +3 or a +4 to picking a lock. And that can go way higher than that too. Like you can get up to like +10s and stuff on like some of the skills if you really do it right. So, you know, rolling a 10 on a lock picking if you're a thief is pretty fucking easy. It's not hard. You're gonna get through that lock pretty much every time. And there's going to be times when you fail, of course.
Yeah.
But the number of times you fail in this game is just like, it's fucking weird when you're on the other difficulty level. And it's like, it would have made more sense if they'd made the lock more difficult to pick instead of fucking with the randomizer. Right? Instead of saying, well, it's random, but it just, you know, it's a higher difficulty, the lock's harder. Well, then it should be a 15 instead of a 10 to succeed. Instead of fucking with the randomizer, just make it harder to succeed the roll. Like, that makes more sense. So,
yeah, like, that way you can at least
instead of an 80% chance,
like, you know,
if you want to make it harder, make it a 70% chance to hit or a 60% chance to hit, but keep it random. Because I should be able to pretty much count on hitting almost every time with an 80%.
Yeah, when you're not making it random or harder, then you don't know how to fucking
I can't
predict your odds.
I can't make a strategic decision if I don't know the actual odds. It's total bullshit. And that's why people are
strategic risk
annoyed by it. It's like, well, yeah, if it says 80%, I should hit 80% of the time, not 10% of the time. And then 60% is almost always getting, like, it's like, nah, because then how am I supposed to decide what to do? And especially when you're doing things that are like, what do you call it? Like if you're a mage character in Dungeons and Dragons, you have a certain number of spell slots for each level. Like you can cast a level 1 spell,
right.
4 times a day, and a level 2 spell twice a day at low levels, right? And so, you have to really be careful when you use your spells because that's a whole day. That could be a lot of fucking things going on over the course of the day. And in this game, it's like because you can camp and do a long rest anytime you want. They treat it like you're just going to do that all the time, instead of and so like.
Oh, gotcha.
You lose a spell in combat, it's a real big problem because that's your big heavy hits. Like your fighter does a lot of damage, but that's just one person, and usually it's only to one other person. It's never to multiple targets. Your mage, on the other hand, can do fat damage to a bunch of targets at the same time if you set it up right. Well, if your fucking 80% is a 10%, you use your big magic spell and you get fucked because it's going to miss every time because they just made it more difficult that way instead of changing the odds. Yeah, it's really fucking frustrating.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Also, I really like some of the spells, and it's really fun to use them, and it sucks when they're really like rare to pull off. There's 2 spells that are really fun to disable your opponents with, so they can't really fight back, and you can just go murder them. Takes them out of the fight for a couple rounds, essentially. Is Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Finnegan's like something dance. And one of them, they just literally roll around on the ground laughing until they're out of it, like, for 5 turns. And they can't fucking do anything. And the other one, they just dance everywhere. Like, they just keep dancing the whole time. And it's fucking funny. Like, if you cast it on a troll, the troll is gonna fucking dance. If you cast it on a goblin, the goblin's gonna fucking dance. See a troll rolling on the ground laughing, it gets fucking funny.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, that's similar. Do you remember hearing those stories of like in medieval times when like there would be entire towns that just started dancing and couldn't stop? Like they literally danced to exhaustion, like to fucking death. Some people.
Yeah, weird shit.
Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah. There's a lot of weird shit like that. I don't know what that was. That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, especially when it affects multiple people like that. It's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it's a human thing because it's there's like laughter things that have happened as well, like where people just like big groups of people just started laughing
and can't stop
and just couldn't stop as like a group, and it like people would get like dead and injured and fucking weird shit going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've heard some people saying it was the ergo, or whatever, it's ERG. Like there was a fungus that would attack like brain, like that kind of shit, and it was essentially like natural LSD.
Plausible. I mean, that
it's an interesting theory. I never know. Yeah. So basically, people are fucking taking acid trips without realizing they're taking acid trips.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, because especially, like, back in the fucking Middle Ages, like, nobody fucking understands what fungus would do to you.
Yeah, and can you imagine fucking all of a sudden you're frying balls, and you have no idea it was coming? Don't know what the fuck it is? Like, it's one thing if you're somebody who's already done acid. You know what I mean? Or has at least heard of it. You're like, oh, okay, I'm fucking tripping balls for some reason. But yeah, they would have no fucking frame of reference for it.
Well, that's like one of the reasons why it's so shitty to give people drugs without them knowing. Like those people that like think it's funny to. My dad used to hang out with a group of people where they would go to barbecues and like one burger would have like 6 hits of acid in it, but nobody'd know which burger it was, and that was like a fun game for them. And I'm like, that's not fucking funny. You don't dose people without their
Yeah,
fucking
that's
knowledge.
fucked up.
That's fucked up. Like, funny if everybody knows, but you got to keep it to everybody who knows. You can't just throw that out in a fucking party, and you know, unless everybody's on the knows, and it's like, yeah. But I can imagine back in the
Speaking of which,
Middle Ages
Hunter
when
S.
everything was possible. Oh, Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Yeah, well, he would do a thing that was actually kind of funny, but it's a little different, which is what kind of makes it funny in my opinion, and not fucked up. He'd go to like a fucking dinner party, whatever the fuck, with you know, whatever his friends, and he'd fucking basically he would go up to a guy and be like, "Hey man, like just you and me, let's drop some acid, right?" But what he would do is go around to fucking everyone and fucking do that to all of them. So like, you know,
so
each
they're
individual
all high
person
as
thought
fuck,
like,
and
"Hey,
they don't
keep
know
me
the other
humble."
ones are high as fuck. So they're trying to pretend not to be high because they don't want to.
Yeah, so every individual, like obviously Hunter.
That's fucking.
But, like literally everyone else.
Everybody knew what they were doing.
It's just me. Yeah. So basically, everyone else thinks it's just me and Hunter, and no, it's everybody. It's that to everybody. So obviously, you've consented to it for one thing. You know what I mean? And it is kind of funny to fuck with an entire room of people thinking they're fucked up and nobody else is.
Exactly.
But yeah, dosing, especially dosing. Like, it's one thing if it's like fucking, I don't know, weed
Hunter's story
shit
is
or,
charming
you know,
because
like that,
everybody knew they were taking drugs. If
yeah,
none
that's what I'm
of
saying.
them
Everybody
knew,
had
that stops
consented.
being funny really
tripping.
fucking quick. It's like I kind of don't like what's his name that everybody fucking loves, Joey or Jerry, whatever.
Ari Shafir?
No,
Ari Shafir?
Shafir I'm not a fan of either. He got kind of fucking weird. But no, what's his name? Joey something or other. Who's like Joe Rogan's favorite.
Oh, Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz. Fuck that
Joey
guy.
Diaz.
That guy constantly giving people like, oh, it's 1,000 it's 100 milligrams of edible, but it turns out to be a 5,000 milligram. Like, that's not fucking funny. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, that's not clever or cute
Yeah,
or funny or charming. It's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, he broke Owen Benjamin doing that.
That is the kind of thing that can actually, if people are predisposed towards psychosis, that is the kind of thing that can cause them to fucking slip into psychosis. Like,
yeah, no, it was then shortly after that is when Owen Benjamin moved out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Over this way. Come on, over here.
Yeah.
I left a tiny spot behind me. He keeps walking behind me and fucking winding the leash around my chair. Stare at the neighbors now, puppy. But yeah, no, that is pretty fucked up, man. You're like, yeah, it's a start of death. Don't worry, don't let the name fool you. It's only like 100 milligrams or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's actually 5,000.
Yeah, that shit was fucking like some of that stuff was just like.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
To people, that's not cool.
Because Owen Benjamin was literally at some point like, yeah, no, I think I need to go out and mayor or something, and then he just left and never came back.
Yeah, well, he started drinking fucking turpentine and fucking abusing his wife.
Yeah, he really did
his fucking children.
And obviously you can't be 100% sure that's why, but it was.
It probably was a contributing factor, but not like the only factor. Like, you can't say it was the reason.
Yeah. Again, it could have been part of the reason. It could have not been. Maybe he would have lost his mind anyway.
Yeah. He might have been prone to that anyway, and it was just it was always gonna happen, sadly.
Indeed. Yeah. But yeah, apparently Ari did that to, I think, Bert Kreischer or somebody.
Well, fuck Ari
although that one, what I didn't like about it. What I didn't like about that one is Bert didn't seem to have a problem with it until everyone else told him he should have a problem with it.
Well, Bert's a fucking
Like it was kind of funny to him. Yeah, I hate him, dude. But yeah, he's nuts, dude. He's fucking out there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Bert either. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but again, like I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be mad? Okay, now I'm now. Like, dude, you had no problem with it. You thought it was fucking funny.
Like, well, Ari
and then
kind of
everyone
went
else told you
fucking off the deep end, apparently. Like, he just started doing weird shit to everybody. Like, it was all over that, like, Natasha Leggero chick or whatever. Like, he fucking tried to kill Bobby Lee or something.
Yeah, there's some kind of weirdness between a lot of.
There was
twice
that he punched Bobby Lee. This is according to Bobby Lee. I watched the podcast where he was talking about it because he's like, I'm only gonna talk about this once. It's in the past. I'm done with it. But I'm just gonna lay everything out and like whatever, like type thing. And apparently Ari hit him like a couple of times because of like he stole his girlfriend or something like weird. I don't remember what it was, like why he was so
I think
mad.
he had introduced it. I think he'd introduced Natasha to somebody that ended up fucking her.
Oh yeah. It was somebody else started fucking her. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. And then fucking
something like that.
And what was it? Fucking. And then he actually tried to fucking strangle him at one point. Like he literally fucking was like trying to choke him to death. Which was like, you know, obviously dismaying to Bobby.
Yeah, that's over the line.
Yeah, and so I was just like, after that, I was just like, wow, fuck Ari Shaffir. Like, nah, fuck Ari Shaffir. Like, that's ridiculous. Bobby Lee didn't fuck your girlfriend. Bobby Lee, it's not Bobby Lee, your girlfriend. Bobby Lee's fault. Your girlfriend's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry she cheated on you, but that's her. That's not the guy. The guy had nothing to do with it. He just happened to be the one she picked. It would have been another guy if it hadn't been. You know, like she's a piece of shit.
Yeah, she's a huge whore, dude. Yeah.
And so I think that was.
So yeah, that was like, definitely. Yeah, and it sucks because I like Ari, man, because he's definitely one of those ones that is not afraid to. You know, he avoids the PC bullshit at least.
Well, he just tells funny jokes. You know, he doesn't. You know, like that's the thing is like. A lot of people seem to think it's like, oh, they're doing it to be, you know, edgy and they don't want to follow the crowd so much. It's just like, if you want to be funny, you can't. You know, it's just, you know, it has nothing to do with their politics. Like even even some left-wing comics are finally starting to get to the point where they're like, oh yeah, if I want to be funny, I just gotta fucking tell jokes that are funny. I can't like fucking. Expect people to just, you know, never like fucking talk about certain topics, you know. So
yeah. It's well for a lot of them, it became less about being funny and more about being PC or you know woke or fucking whatever. Instead of again, the primary goal should be being funny and fuck everyone's feelings. If it's funny, fuck you. If it's talking about a quote-unquote marginalized group or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not really part of any marginalized groups, but I gotta imagine I would feel very fucking patronized by people getting offended on my behalf over some fucking jokes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you know, like nobody wants pity, right?
Yeah,
that's essentially what it boils down to.
Yeah, well, I guess not. Yeah. Some people do. Some people love to be the victim. It's become very popular and very lucrative nowadays, for sure. But yeah, the whole fucking victim points things fucking has just ruined all kinds of shit.
Well, and like the weird thing is there's people that literally like try to keep track, like where they're like,
yeah.
You know, I get more victim points than this other victim, and you're like, okay, like now we're getting fucking strange here, buddy. Like,
yeah, or the people that have failed in the business and our business. Did you ever hear the that get over here? I'm here. Hold on, sorry. Oh, damn it, get over here. Sorry, somebody just pulled up, so gotta get my dog away from him.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, what they're saying. Okay, did you ever hear the shit that ended up getting Shane Gillis off of SNL before he even started? Did you ever hear what the actual thing was that Seth Simons pulled up?
No.
Like, this guy's fucking racist against Asian people, or whatever, right? The one that actually got Gillis fired before he started. All right, well, dude, the thing that he was doing was literally, he was, like saying, he was talking about some, like a hypothetical man, white guy, being racist towards chinks or whatever he said, right? So it was like a hypothetical thought of this fucking guy that he created. So it isn't like it's not even like he was just talking shit about Asian.
Where it's like Tosh does this joke about a
kinda.
baby that's super rapeable that works at like fucking a t-shirt store and is like super ripped and buff and everything, and then people, you know, get all weird about it for a second, and he's like, "Wait, were you worried about the fake baby getting raped? It's not a fucking real baby. Get over it, guys. It's a fucking joke." You know, like, and then the whole audience just starts cracking up because they realize, like, "Oh yeah, I'm fucking dumb. Like, it's not a real baby."
Yeah, it's very, that's a great example. It was very much like that.
So it was it's like it wasn't a joke about him being racist. It was like a joke about a racist mocking a racist.
Yeah.
It was not at the expense of Asian people, it was the expense of racist people.
Yeah, hypothetical racist guy, basically. Yeah. I'll have to pull it up exactly because it's so... Like, dude, he's not even saying it as him. Like, it's quite clear in context that he's making up. He's created a hypothetical situation about Chinatown and how it got started or whatever. I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but it was something to do with Asians and, you know, something like that. So yeah, it's not even like it was literally Shane Gillis saying, "Fuck these chinks," or, you know, whatever. So yeah, it was. I mean, again, honestly, I think it was probably best for Shane Gillis that he got fired from SNL, but the way it happened is fucking ridiculous. It's fucking absurd. Because, yeah, honestly, I'd never heard of him, and now he's one of my favorite fucking comics, dude. Like, he's easily in my top 5 favorite comics.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
But, yeah, I'd never...
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, people are just so fucking whiny about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and that dude that did it, Seth Simons, or I think Seth Simons is who I'm thinking of. But yeah, he's literally, that's what he does. He fucks with people and tries to get them in trouble just to fucking try to elevate himself. And because he was horrible as a stand-up comic.
I aim to devastate.
Yep. Yeah, I'll never understand the, the people that...
Yeah, that level of spite. The bitterness and spite, they're like, "Fuck you, I wanted to be famous like that. I wanted to get on SNL, and I didn't, so I'm going to try to fuck it up for anybody that gets there."
Finally.
Yeah, people are weird.
Yeah.
And Hollywood is extremely fucking corrupt and competitive, though. Like, to a weird, creepy level.
Arriving at Watch Point, Gibraltar.
Yeah. Yeah, and even like stand-up is kind of the same. You know, like apparently a lot of them, their mindset is like, "What? Why did they get that gig? I could do that. I should get that gig."
Well, when instead of what they should be thinking is, what are they doing that makes them worthy of getting that gig? And what do I do? What do I got to change so that I can be there? Which is a much healthier mindset to say, like, "Oh, hey,
I should try to get better."
Yeah, I should improve myself. Or, oh, you know, the difference between them and me is they're out doing like 6 shows every fucking week, and I'm doing 3 every week. Maybe I should try to figure out if I can figure out a way to up my number of shows or something, so that I'm getting my name out there, so I'm more well known. Or I need to practice, you know, this kind of joke, or I need to do more writing. There's all sorts of things where it's just like, there's always something you can improve on. So,
but no, people like that, like Seth Simons and them, are literally, they must think like if I can just destroy the careers of enough,
One.
I'll be one of the few ones left, and I have to think I'm one of the best. Yeah, it's an odd mindset, man. Yeah, instead of just challenging yourself and being like, I gotta get better, man. I gotta fucking, improve my own shit because I suck. Or find another career.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Finally.
Yes. Oh. That. Alright, I'm back in the room. Safe. Fucking dog. Fucking dog. Whew. So yeah, what else is happening in the world?
Let's see.
Oh, let me get this dog more water.
Oh, whoops, wrong thing. Let's see, Doc, Epstein.
Time to teach
Oh,
these
Chappelle's in
birds
trouble
some
again.
manners.
Oh yeah, I saw that, dude. I don't think I saw the specifics, but yeah.
I'm in trouble,
Seemed to be
and
hot water.
I don't think he gives a shit.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely achieved the fuck you money status.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Well, he's
Yeah, what was
smart
it?
enough
Was it
to know
another
that,
trans
like,
thing?
you don't have... Yeah, it's more trans stuff. He made more jokes. He did a joke where he was talking about... He met Jim Carrey when Jim Carrey was pretending to be...
A woman?
Andy
Pretending
Kaufman.
to be a woman?
You remember when he was trying to pretend to be Andy Kaufman? Sorry, it took me a minute to
Yeah.
remember the name. He was pretending
Yeah.
to be Andy Kaufman. And it was just like such nonsense, right? And he's like, it made me extremely uncomfortable. And it's like, he's like, that's how I feel about trans people. And it's like, well, that's pretty reasonable. You know, like, right? And the whole audience is fucking cracking up because they're like, yeah, no, I get it. You're trying to pretend that's not Jim Carrey. You got to call him Andy. You know it's bullshit.
Interesting.
And
Right,
there's
right.
no question about it being bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those things where it's like, it's silly. The whole thing was just dumb and silly.
Yeah. But anytime you talk about the trans people, if you're not 100% positive, you're a transphobe.
Yeah, and it's like, but you know, like the things, being able to tell those kinds of jokes is what makes people comfortable. You know, with those things. Like if you can
Yeah.
tell jokes about trans people, it's fucking funny.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's not actually
And then you
spirited
and them can laugh about it, and everybody has a good time. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, again, if it's not vicious and mean-spirited, man, like it's just funny. Yeah, there should be no fucking problem with that. But again, it's just this automatic thing where you're talking about trans people, it's not 100% glowing.
You're talking about
positive.
trans people, exactly, and it's not 100% good. You're a terrible person.
Yeah. It's like, dude, why can't we just admit that it's fucking weird and it can make you uncomfortable while you're getting used to the idea? You know what I mean? Get out of there. Get out of there. I'm not fighting you. Stop. Just stay out of there. Dog.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that didn't kick in for a while. Alright. So I switched headphones and I didn't come through. Yeah, I fumbled that a little.
Let's see what else. Yeah, trans people are dumb in that one. It goes over. Oh, the funny one I thought was funny.
Yeah, well, it's the virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the special
the
treatment
main
without wanting
issues
special
that I
treatment.
see
We
with
want to
it-
be treated like everyone else, but we want to be special.
Yeah, we don't want to be able to be criticized, or, you know, we don't want, especially the fake ones, because it's quite obvious that there's a lot of fucking people claiming to be trans that just aren't. especially the athletes, like that's pretty fucking obvious to me.
Yep.
That there's a lot of dudes that are like, wow, I'm a mediocre male athlete, but if I become female, I am suddenly the best athlete in my fucking, you know, in my sport, and I'm gonna break all kinds of records. So yeah, the transgender shit is a big part of the fucking problem. Yeah, and again, people virtue signaling, because again, I don't think any of us doubt that the gender dysmorphia exists, that there aren't genuine trans people.
Yeah.
Well,
that there are
no
people
way
who,
there's suddenly going to be
right now, the best treatment is potentially pretending they're a different gender. But I think there's definitely people who have mental health problems that believe they're the wrong gender. But I don't buy into the whole what do you call it, like what do you buy the whole fucking that's the best way to treat it, is that they need to mutilate their fucking body. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. It's one of those things where it's like, right now that's the best thing that some people have considered, but I think that the numbers show that that's not really resolving anything, because the suicide rates are fucking astronomical. And we can't have a real conversation around it, because if you don't agree that they can just pretend magically be a woman, then you're evil. But this isn't about being a woman or a man. This is about, like, the numbers are pretty clear that transitioning, and it has nothing to do with acceptance, none of that bullshit. You're not just going to magically stop somebody from committing suicide by being like, I like you. It's a deeper seated issue if they're suicidal. But we can't have this conversation about trans people where we say maybe transitioning isn't the best because suicide rate is huge. We don't have any way of preserving any sort of sexual functionality. So, like, if somebody goes in and gets a transition, it's like 95% chance that they're never going to have another orgasm again. Like, they're going to completely, they're obviously going to be sterile no matter what. Like, that's just definitely going to happen. Like, they're never going to have kids. Which can be a big thing for a lot of people. A big emotional issue for a lot of people, especially for women that turn into men. Suddenly realizing at 30, you're never going to have kids. Like, it's not that you didn't now and you might have a hard time having kids later. You're never going to have them. They're never going to be yours. They're always going to be like if you adopted or something like that. Like, that's just not the same thing. That's a huge issue with it. And the other thing is just not being able to have an orgasm. Orgasms are fucking awesome. Everybody fucking loves orgasms. Like, let's not... We've spent a lot of time as a society pretending that that's not the case, but everybody likes coming. You know, that's just pretty normal. And to just never... I mean, imagine never being able to do that again for the rest of, like, however long you live. Like, that's a pretty unfortunate circumstance.
Had your cock fashion into you've had your cock fashioned into a gaping wound, like, pretending to be a pussy, but now you can't orgasm.
Yeah, and so there's that. Plus, there, it's being sold as the solution to everything, like from depression to anxiety to what do you call that? Where you feel uncomfortable in social situations, social anxiety or something like that, where you can't hang out with people.
Right. Yeah.
It's being sold as like this cure-all fucking thing. Oh, just fucking chop off your dick or cut out your pussy or whatever. That's gonna fix your problems in life. And we're prevented from having any discussion over that, and that's what's unfortunate, because I think that it is a real problem. There are people who genuinely have gender dysphoria, and we need to figure out what is the safest way to treat them.
Yeah.
Is it changing gender? Because if it's changing gender,
44% rate.
the suicide rates skyrocket when you change gender. So that seems like it might not be the best plan. Like, can we find some other way that these people can be happier and functional members of society without,
making
fucking
them want to
killing
die.
themselves, making them want to die.
Yeah.
And it can't be acceptance because you can't control acceptance. No matter how mean or
how much
nice
you
you
force it.
are, you can't control societal acceptance of something that's just not true.
Yeah.
Even stuff that is true, you can't control. But I mean, like, anybody can look at a man pretending to be a woman or a woman pretending to be a man and be like, no, that's not real. Like, I'm not believing that.
Right.
Because it's an internal decision. It's not something you know. Yeah, and so it's like we're in this dumb fucking loop, and a lot of people are getting hurt in a lot of really bad ways because of this dumb fucking loop. So it's very frustrating to me because I work in mental health. Like I love to see everybody happy,
Yeah.
But putting men in women's prisons,
the way they're going about it.
Women in men's group homes is not the fucking way to go. Like. I will say this: working in a men's group home is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I would imagine. There's a lot less fucking catty bullshit to deal with.
Men are much nicer to deal with. Oh yeah, the fights last for hours, not days and months.
Yeah.
Like two women get mad at each other in a program, they'll hate each other forever, or is this going to go for like days or months or weeks? But it's not going to be over anytime soon.
Yeah, for guys, mostly once you have it out, it's pretty much done. You're like, okay, I know where you stand, you know where I stand. We're good. Like we may not be friends, but we can get past this and at least get along.
In almost every room of the house I work at, almost every bedroom has a sliding glass door. For some reason, they just really were popular when this house was built. For some odd reason, there's literally like
just glass sliding doors everywhere.
8 sliding glass doors, maybe 9 altogether throughout the house.
Dude.
Right? Like, so when I say like it's a fucking lot, like.
A
lot of
there should be no interior ones. What the fuck?
No, those are all exterior. So the house I work at is kind of a little funky. It's 3 different houses put together.
Okay, I gotcha.
So it was a duplex and a granny unit, sort of like that had 2-bedroom granny unit, and then 2 houses with 3 bedrooms each. And they combined it all. So instead of having 2 small houses, there's now 1 really big house. And then they did that when I worked at one. And then they added the 3rd house in just recently. And an extra bedroom. But all these other rooms have sliding glass doors for some odd reason. It was super popular at the time. It was built in the 60s or 70s. But there was 2 guys.
I was going to say, that's basically 3 per house. Even that's sounds like a lot. Jeez, right? Or almost 3 per house, dude. That seems like a lot.
My house has 1.
Yeah,
and that's the standard. 1 or 2 is usually the standard. Yeah. Usually there's maybe there's one in a sunroom or a back door, and then there's sometimes there's an extra one in a master bedroom.
Right.
Where the master bedroom has its own sliding glass door to the backyard or something, or a secluded area of the backyard maybe. That's the most common secondary one. At least in my area, that's usually what it is.
You're
the house I rented with my friends. My room and one of the other guys' room both had doors to the backyard. For some reason, that was the only way to the backyard. There was no central area of the house that went to the backyard. It was 2 bedrooms, and so if you wanted to go to the backyard, if you wanted to go to the backyard, you had to go through one of the bedrooms.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Yeah, so there's some weird builds around here. because a lot of stuff was made in the 60s and then modified over the years.
Gotcha.
So that's usually what happens. But there were two guys living in they're sharing a room. So there's like, several double rooms, and then there's like a couple of rooms where it's like single people, like their own room. Because we have to have a certain amount of square footage in the room per bed. For licensing,
right.
we can only put so many beds, and so much space. Which is good, because otherwise they just cram motherfuckers in there like sardines, and it'd be gross.
Right.
But these two guys share a room, and the guy's roommate was leaving the curtain open, but his bed was farther away from the sliding glass window.
Oh.
And this guy was getting cold, and he had like 5 blankets, and it wasn't enough. And he's like, hey, can we not leave, it's winter, can we close the curtain? And he was super worried about even saying it in the first place. He didn't want to start a fight. But he asked the guy, and the guy was like, oh, yeah, no problem, whatever. And that's like the most common kind of way that things get resolved. It's like, oh, yeah, you just didn't want to fucking create waves, but, if you actually talk to the guy, he didn't care. So, because most of the guys are, hey, sure, no big deal. Because they're dudes. They just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Women are the ones that like tend to fight over things like, well, I wanted that curtain open, and I don't care if you're cold. You're just saying you're cold to ruin my good time. Instead of like guys who are like, oh, you're cold. Oh, that sucks. I get being cold is bad. Yeah, you can close the curtain, man. That's fine. Like... Yeah,
but
so
for
really
women, that can be a fucking... lifelong fucking...
Because she's not really... She's just doing it to ruin your good time. They fucking interpret shit different. It's one of the more frustrating things I find when talking to most women, because not every woman does it, but for most women, they're interpreting the words you say instead of accepting that you're actually saying exactly what you mean. It's like I'm saying exactly what I mean. You don't have to add extra steps. And in fact,
you don't have to steps,
you're insulting me, and you're making shit up, and that's not what I said anymore. Just
and a big part of it is them. The women where it's an issue, I would. So this has to be what you were thinking. Like they don't understand that people don't think the same about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I'm not trying to. There's no secondary content to what I'm doing. Like there's no secondary reason. I'm just saying what I mean.
There's no ulterior motive behind what you're saying. Get out of there.
It's like, no, I'm mad because you threw away my T-shirt. There's no other issue here. There's not any other buried hatchet or thing that I'm bringing up from the past or weird thing about like, well, I thought when you said this about that coffee cup. No, I just didn't want my T-shirt thrown away. Like... Yeah,
no, it seems like unfathomable to them that you're just saying what you're actually fucking mean.
Yeah.
Like that's impossible in their mind.
I think my mom's interpretation is always in the form of looking for some sort of solution for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're like, oh man, I got fucking, my I'm just having a miserable day at work or something, or it was just awful. She'll try to like interpret things and then try to figure out a way to solve your problem, and you're like, no, I just was saying it was a shitty day at work. There's no problem. Like everybody.
Like I'm just venting. That's it.
Or sometimes I'm just mad about something and I'll get over it.
Yeah, you vent about it, and that's all you took. That's all you need.
Or like there's something that you're making me do that I don't want to do, as long as it gets done,
and it's
fine. I'm gonna be mad about it for a little while, because sometimes I'm just mad. This is how humans work. Now eventually I'll figure out, oh, it's dumb to be mad, or I'll just I'm not gonna keep holding on to it because it's dumb.
Or it's something that's out of your control anyway, that kind of shit. Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
but
no, I
don't
remember.
all-
I forget what the stats are, but like there's very little things. There's very few things that are both within your control and that you can actually do anything about. Like
Yeah.
like almost half of the shit is stuff that never ends up happening when you're worrying about shit. And then again, a vast majority of the rest is stuff you can't. It's nothing you can do about it. So there's a very small amount of shit that, again, an issue where you're like, okay, this is an issue, and I can do something about it. Like that's actually exceedingly rare. It's like 8% of the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, that didn't quite work with what we were talking about, but it kind of fits.
No, it makes sense. It's like a good tangent.
Yep. Yeah, it was semi-related.
Oh,
Kinda
so
makes sense.
I saw a clip from Joe Rogan, a more recent clip, within the last couple of weeks, and he talked to a sex neuroscientist, and
Dude, I actually did watch
the
some of that
woman
one.
is worried about like sex robots. And I thought there were some monumentally bad takes on that one. Like, that just really were like, no, dude, that's bullshit. Like, people are not going to be more interested in sex robots because of internet porn. That's not the problem.
Right.
No, it's women have changed the standards that they expect to such a drastic degree that they're insane. And men are just, like, walking away from it. Like, I'm just not even going to fucking waste my time. You're just not worth my time. You're crazy. You're like 500
it's like
pounds.
if they can't,
You look like the ass end of a fucking skunk. You smell like it, and you think you're going to date a 6 foot tall, beautiful person who's earning $5 million a year.
Yeah, like women, no matter what their appeal is, they all don't want to settle for anything less than like the top 10% of men.
And it's not even like the top 10; it's like the top 1. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's part of some sort of
so I like
high-value man cult thing that they got going. It's really weird.
Yeah, I like the Taylor the Fiend video. He does a good job of pointing out. Actually, he doesn't seem to do his own videos that much anymore. Yeah, those are pretty good at pointing out how ridiculous women are with their fucking standards.
Yeah, and it's like,
standards,
if somebody says they have standards, they're probably an idiot. Like, in general, just for dating, like, I have standards when I'm dating. Oh, you're an idiot. Okay, cool, I get it.
Yeah.
Because the word has been bent all out of any sort of fucking recognition anyway. As far as what these people
I need the guy to be perfect in every way, even though I'm imperfect in almost every way.
Like standards in the classic sense, when it was a reasonable thing to talk about, is things like, I want somebody with a job.
Yeah.
I
want somebody with a job that doesn't beat me and doesn't cheat on me. Like those
or
are
has
really,
a good sense of humor. Things like that. Like things where it was like reasonable things. Now it's like they got to be like 6'6", and then there's also men with equally bizarre standards. Like it's not just one-sided altogether. It just most of it is from one side.
Right.
But if you talk to those guys that are in that top 10 and top 1%, they're fucking nuts too.
Yeah.
Because literally they have just loads of women trying to fuck them all the time. So they can pick and choose whatever they want. So they get pretty crazy about it. But the other thing is, aside from like the ridiculous standards that people are talking about, is both genders are trying to win relationships. So that's definitely not a healthy thing either. This has nothing to do with pornography, though. That's the part that's really frustrating, because it's like you're wasting everybody's fucking time now.
Yeah.
Because it's just dumb. That's
honestly,
the birth rates.
Yeah, even the real doll thing is like, you're like, I don't know. You still got to fucking do a decent job of simulating a pussy. Like that's still the main thing. Like again, I think you realize Like, no, I don't like women. I like pussy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying this right.
No, you're saying it. You're saying it right. You're completely right.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Most. I mean, how many? Besides, someone that you're hoping to fuck someday, are you actually spending a huge amount of time with? And they exist. I'm not saying they don't, but for the most part, most guys would not be hanging out with vast majority of women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they think it might lead to pussy in some way.
I
if you didn't have pussy,
am probably the extreme exception when I say that probably because of the stuff that I did socially mostly was dance related. The vast majority of my friends have been women.
Right.
Like I've had male friends, but I've had more very close female friends over the course of my life than male friends. And it can get fucking weird. But I've never wanted to have sex with any of my female friends. Like that's never been a case. And I don't know if it was mutual. I assume it was. Don't really care because I wasn't interested anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have happened.
Right.
But it was just one of those things where it was like, oh, I fucking lost my train of thought now. Son of a bitch. But you do have to get used to like the difference in communication style and like the translation stuff and all that other shit. But
I can't remember if it was you that had posted it or not. There was a video. I think you had posted this video of where the chick was. They were talking about how this boyfriend and girlfriend were relatively new in a relationship, and they were talking about how they had friends of the opposite gender or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, but no, I'm not trying to sleep with these ones. They're not trying to sleep with me. Like we are just friends." And she's like, "No, it's the same with me." And then they're like, "All right, why don't you call this guy and ask him if he's up for a Netflix and chill and see what he says." And she's like, "Yeah, of course." And she calls him, and he's totally down with it. He's like, "Yeah, I'm working right now, but yeah, as soon as I get off, fuck yeah."
Let's go.
And she's like all shocked, like, "Yeah." She's like,
I have to say,
backfired badly.
Of my female friends, I was never romantically inclined, but I suppose if they'd asked just for like a fuck buddy kind of thing, I might have been
random hookup. Yeah,
I might have been down for that, just because, like, why not? Like, that actually sounds kind of cool. If it's just somebody you're friends with, and you're just doing it just to fucking, just to get off.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, no strings attached.
Yeah, it's not about an emotional connection.
It's hard to get a. Yeah, it's not. It's kind of rare though when both people are down for no strings attached.
Well, that's why I hesitate to say it because I don't know that I would have gone for it because I would have been like, no, because sooner or later, shit's gonna go wrong.
Yeah. Like at first you might have both been down with that, but one of you's feelings, one or both of you, are going to start catching feelings.
Exactly. And it's like, you got to be really careful with that shit. It's super easy to fucking, for that kind of stuff to go wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, I say, like, maybe it would have been I would have given it a decent amount of consideration, but I would probably have said no in the end.
Yeah. You're like, no, that could end badly. Like, yeah, probably best that we don't. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to fuck you.
Yeah.
But I like our friendship a lot more. I value although that is mostly the girls' reaction. But there's certainly guys that are like, no, I wouldn't mind fucking you, but like it's not a driving need, and I actually do value our friendship. So yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah, and every situation's gonna be totally different. If you're never gonna get, because people are just so fucking random as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, you might first starting, both of you are probably being totally genuine when you're like, yeah, no, fuck, no, I don't really have any feelings beyond that. and both be telling the absolute truth. But it doesn't necessarily, again,
it's not
after a
necessarily going
while,
to end there.
most likely, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, most likely, at least start catching some feelings you did not expect.
Exactly. And you got to be careful about that kind of stuff, you know? It just
As soon as you get a fucking any sense that that's happening, you kind of have to shut it down, I think.
Well, I was there was a chick I hung out with from work, and it was one of those situations where like I ended up breaking off the friendship because it just started getting too weird. Because I'm a big fan of don't shit where you eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't fuck people you work with. It's just not a good idea most of the time. Not saying it can never work out, because it can.
Yeah. But the odds are pretty overwhelmingly against it.
Yeah, exactly. The odds are pretty fucking low on that working out the way you want it to.
Yeah, there's like 80 ways this go wrong, and maybe 1 or 2 that it could go, right. So just speaking on a statistical odds, subject, you're like, yeah, this probably should not do that.
Exactly. So, it's just one of those things, like, you gotta figure out, like, where you stand on that kind of stuff. But that, I think the reason people are so interested in, like, sex robots and that they would probably be very, very popular is just because, like, dating has become, like, this weird fucking aggressive thing that nobody wins.
Yeah. It becomes this weird contest of wills and scorekeeping and fucking, it's fucking bizarre, dude. Yeah, if you're scorekeeping and being like, okay, I'm winning, I can't give any ground, so I can't bend on this stupid minor point because then he might catch up and start winning. Yeah, it's.
Yup.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre. Yeah, that mindset. Yeah, I never understood it. But yeah, if they can actually put any, something that's like 90% as good as, an actual pussy, like that's probably close enough to where women's power is going to be drastically shrunk. Which I don't know, man. I think that would be incredibly good for civilization. Yeah. All right. No worries, man. All right. Oh shit! Is anybody actually watching? I haven't checked in like an hour. I hope nobody's in the chat, or almost an hour. Yeah, it looks like.
There we go. Just some checking in on what we're doing for groceries.
Gotcha.
Fun stuff.
Very well.
Super exciting. Super exciting.
Yeah.
I'm ordering my sparkling water as we speak.
Get some more of that ever roast chicken.
I might. I've been trying to figure out what I want to do for like lunches. Like I have a couple of good options for breakfast that I figured out, like calorically or reasonably sized meals. Right? Like I could do a breakfast sandwich with like an egg, a piece of bacon, and a piece of cheese and an English muffin. That's a pretty good breakfast sandwich, and it's a pretty reasonable breakfast, right? Like nothing big. May add a piece of fruit if I want, like an apple or a banana, no big deal. Conversely, I have like a granola yogurt and fruit thing that I can also do for breakfast. So I've got a couple of good options for that because there's all sorts of different flavors of granola. And I'm trying to figure out lunches, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is making it almost all meat, no like bread. Like no bread, no rice, no pasta for like lunches. And just make it like a meat and like fruit. Like I might eat like a half a pound of like fucking chicken if that's what I don't know how many calories chicken is, so I have no idea how that would fucking balance out.
Right.
But I might go for like, a half a pound of chicken and an apple or something. So that's actually not a bad idea. Like that's some really good chicken. I can see myself just eating that chicken on its own and just genuinely enjoying it very much.
Yeah, I told you, man, that shit tastes literally like fucking cold fried chicken.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense, but it fucking tastes like fried chicken.
Yeah. Well, I guess you shouldn't be surprised. Companies out there as far as, making any of the kind of lunch meats or whatever. So, yeah, it's not that surprising. Yet they managed to pull it off. But yeah, I did kind of think it was impossible.
My mom was saying she said I bet it's a sort of stock that they brine the chicken in.
Yeah, could be. Makes sense.
Like it soaks in some sort of like stock that has like a smoky flavor.
Yeah, that makes sense. You just soak in it for a fucking long ass time, get all that flavor in there.
Yep. And that's what gives it like that extra sort of like juicy, flavory kind of thing that makes it so tasty.
Indeed. So yeah. On the extremely offhand chance that anybody's listening, yeah, if you find yourself around some ever roast chicken from Boar's Head, give it a try. It's really fucking good.
It's not on the menu anymore at the Safeway. They must be out of it.
That sucks. Although, isn't Safeway, they do like some other brand, don't they? I didn't think they did that. Or here, at least, they don't do Boar's Head. It's like Dietz and Watson, or I don't remember the name.
No, Boar's Head is in my Safeway. There's a ton of Boar's Head.
Huh.
I'm looking at like a whole, like there's bratwurst chicken, andouille sausage. Like they're just out of the ever roast chicken. They got the lemon pepper and another kind of chicken ready to go, but that's not the,
Gotcha. Yeah, here it's, they don't even carry Boar's Head. The fries that carries Boar's Head here. It's pretty crazy.
Yep. Well, it's weird contracts of what is and isn't sold at each place. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna do a ribeye steak, and then I was like, "What do I want with my ribeye steak?" And then I was like, "You know what? I want some of those Bush's baked beans. I don't think I've ever had those because my family isn't a real big fan of anything other than just like chili or like refried beans with like Mexican food occasionally. They don't like just beans and stuff.
Sure.
Like I like me like a pork soup with like a pork sausage soup that has like beans and stuff with it, and or just beans on their own, like baked beans, so good.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not a fan of baked beans. I like ranch style beans, but yeah, I've never been a fan of baked beans.
Texture thing?
No, it's the flavor thing. I don't know. There's something about the sweetness in beans that I just don't seem to like. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Okay. I like the sweetness with the beans.
Yeah, for some reason I just don't. Because actually I didn't eat ranch style beans forever because I thought they were essentially the same thing as baked beans. And I tried them, like, oh fuck, man, these are really good. I've been fucking missing this for the first 20 years of my life or whatever. A couple things like that. Cream cheese. For some reason, I associated cream cheese with being cottage cheese.
Oh,
And
wow.
I
It
do
could
not
not be
like
more
cottage
different.
cheese. Yeah, no, I know. Actually, it was when I was working for, when I was working at the Catholic school here as a daycare aide. Actually, the other one was too. The ranch style was the same thing. Well, it was my friend's mom ran the daycare. That's how I got the job originally.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she was actually the one that gotten me both to try the cream cheese like on a bagel and to try the ranch style beans.
Yeah, cream cheese is
'Cause, yeah,
so good. Oh my god.
yeah. Oh, the
How
other
could you
one
not
was.
know that was different? I mean, you've had cheesecake before, right? I mean,
Yeah, I have no idea, dude. It is very odd looking back on it. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me.
yeah, because
Oh,
they're
the
so
other one was
drastically
the
different in appearance too. It's not like they look. I mean, there's chunky, watery stuff versus. I don't like cottage cheese. I enjoy it, but
yeah. I do
it
not.
does not look like cream cheese at all.
Yeah, again, I think it was just they both start with a C, cottage and cream.
Oh, I can see
I
that. That
yeah,
actually kind of makes a
yeah,
weird kind of sense.
yeah. No, it was definitely weird. Whatever the reasoning, it was definitely weird. That much I am fairly certain of. But yeah, it's yeah. Actually, no, dude, that's a third thing. I used to go to. I used to love the hot wings at KFC. And then like the sauce that they used, the hot sauce that they used, it was always separate. It came in little packets like ketchup or whatever. And for some reason, I did not know that was essentially like Louisiana hot sauce or Red Devil or that kind of thing. So yeah, there's actually three things now that I think about it that my friend's mom, you know,
Yeah.
uh, accidentally. I assume it wasn't on purpose, but it's funny that there's three different things like that I discovered because of my friend's mom.
Well, it wouldn't it nice of her to like help expand your diet.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just purely accidental. Like, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
no way she did it on purpose. Just again, like one of them went out because again they were doing like bagels with cream cheese for the kids as a snack or whatever. And then the other two were like me just hanging out with my friends at his mom's house. They were having a party for whatever reason.
Huh.
But yeah, for some reason it never occurred to me like, wow, that's three different things, and I can't think of any other ones, like any other situations like that. So like almost all of them, or probably all of them, are literally my buddy's mom. Yeah, it was like two brothers basically that I was friends with.
Yeah.
They had a mom that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, she was pretty funny actually. Like when she met my girlfriend for this first time, she's like, "Ooh, I got a lot of questions for her." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" That's a little fucking weird, but all right. I mean, I didn't say that out loud, but I'm like, hmm. Yeah, she was a Mexican chick. She's a Mexican woman, so she's a little. They're pretty forthright, and they're generally not shy.
True.
About anything of like a sexual nature. They will make jokes about that.
There was a girl I worked with at an assembly place, and we worked in these big, like those big, sturdy sort of rectangle tables that everybody sits at in like schools and auditoriums and all like jobs and stuff like that. Like they're these big, heavy, sturdy tables. We would sit across from each other across a main walkway. So you could see like the person's legs under the table or whatever.
Right.
And she would constantly tease me that I was trying to look up her skirt. she just thought it was the funniest fucking thing, and she would make fun of me and try to get me to look at her tits and all that other kind of shit. I think she might have had a little crush, but she was like, but she kept it at teasing. She was married with kids and stuff. I wouldn't even fuck around with that anyway. But that was always like, be hanging out at work. She'd be like, "Oh, you see my chones?" And I have no idea what chones are. I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, She liked to try to fluster me.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely a trait. Mexican women for sure. Jesus Christ. Yeah, when I worked at the Mexican food restaurant, that shit was constant. Come on up here. Okay.
So it was one of those things, and it was funny. It didn't really bother me. It was cute, you know. It was kind of an adorable thing. But yeah, that was definitely something I noticed about the Mexican women. There were definitely a little more earthy, we shall say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. I actually remember a specific one. One of the other women that worked there had gotten like her hair dyed like a different color.
Oh yeah.
And my friend's mom told her, like, well, just just don't do any somersaults while you're wearing a skirt, and nobody will know the difference. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
You say funny. That, but I had this other friend. She was dating this guy who was a real POS kind of guy.
Get over there.
Because she didn't understand the difference between ego and confidence. And so this dude was like a classic narcissist. And she was so into him for the longest time. It was so sad to watch. But I was like, I didn't want her. So somebody took her. Good for them.
All right.
But she was a riot to hang out because she was just so fucking, like, off the fucking wall.
Just straight out.
Crazy. She was the one who, like, she wouldn't walk on unpaved ground after dark because she thought zombies would get her. As a fucking mid-20s adult woman who lived on her own.
Wow.
Like, rented an apartment and everything. It was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
So it wasn't bullshit. Like, she genuinely feared that. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, she would not leave her car.
God damn, dude, that's funny.
Where was I going with this? Yeah, that was funny. She would not leave the fucking car. Yeah, you couldn't get her to go. Like, I couldn't. So there was this cool thing that I like to take my friends to, and it wasn't, male, female, didn't matter to me. I just thought it was kind of neat. Is that bioluminescent stuff? Like stuff that like plankton, where it's bioluminesces.
Oh, right,
and you
right.
kind of see it. We don't have it in the water, per se, that you can tell here. But for a couple of months of the year, in a very specific place, it's all through the sand. Right?
Huh.
And the sand is all that kind of wet sand because it's where a creek occasionally breaks through to the ocean and occasionally it doesn't go all the way through and it forms a pond. And it's this wet sand, so while the creek doesn't break through, it's this big, huge, broad patch of like 30 feet of that kind of wet, solid, easy to walk on sand. And it's spread over maybe half a football field's worth of space, maybe 50 yards long. So you got like a 50-yard stretch of like, 30-foot wide beach where when you walk, little sparkles radiate out from your footsteps and you can lean down and scoop the sand and, scatter it and it sparkles across the sand and stuff. It's really fun to do. Like, it's never seen it before. It's pretty cool. And so I'd like to take people out there and show it to them for the first time and be like, hey, we just got to go out there when it's, a little after like, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock when it's dark. And it's something cool to check out. So that was one of the people I could never take. And I was always like, God, I wish I could show her that. It would be so fun. Because she would never go because it's after dark and the zombies are going to get her.
Yeah, they're just waiting for her to step out on that wet sand and they're going to fucking grab her ankles. Tear down.
She was a
But dude, when that shit happens, goddamn, I want to catch that so fucking bad, dude. Like waves, like when they break and it's all bioluminescent when waves break. Like anytime anything agitates the water, that's so fucking cool, dude. Or people are walking on the beach. I've seen
video of the stuff where it's in the water and that looks amazing. I want to watch that.
Yeah, like somebody surfing. I've seen the videos of people like surfing it and then the water. Surfboard is doing it. The wave itself is doing it. Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you see it during the day, it's pretty gross because it's all red. Like, it almost looks
Yeah,
like
I know.
blood.
It's totally not worth seeing in the daytime.
Yeah.
That's always been
Yeah,
kind of the
but at
funny
night,
part of it.
yeah. But yeah, at night, goddamn, watching the waves break and everything lighting up, fucking awesome.
Man.
Yeah, so every year when we go to California, I'm like, maybe this year there will be a fucking algae bloom. That red algae or whatever, the bioluminescent algae. Fucking see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, one year when we were in Carlsbad, we were fucking somehow convincing ourselves that we were seeing it. And then, like, after about 10 minutes, I'm like, that's just a reflection of the moon off of the different little facets of the water, like the water. But yeah, for a good 10 minutes, we were convincing ourselves that it was actually happening. Yeah, and when it's happening, it's very obvious. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a maybe, maybe not kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You definitely, once you finally see it, it's like, it was the same thing with where I was. Like, you could convince yourself if you really wanted to, you could see it on an off part of the season. But nah, you definitely, when it was there, and when it wasn't, you definitely weren't seeing it. It was very easy to tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's iffy, it ain't happening. If it's iffy, you're imagining.
Exactly. But it was one of the things that I got to show a lot of different people, and it was a lot of fun to go check it out and be like, hey, this cool thing, you can see it yourself if you want.
Nah. Nice.
Oh man, so this new season of anime apparently has a lot of really risque anime, some very porntastic style anime, a lot of nudity and stuff. I've been hearing. I haven't seen much of it yet. Just one show, but like from the rumors I've been hearing from other anime people, it's going to be pretty raunchy. But the one I found is there's a magical girl trope. Think like Sailor Moon. I don't know if you've ever seen any of that, but like that's probably the one that everybody would have seen.
I'm somewhat familiar with it, not in depth, but yeah.
Essentially the girl does like some sort of thing and then transforms into like a superhero and has all these powers and beats up the bad guys. Sort of the female fantasy for hero fantasy versus like the guys is more of a superhero fantasy kind of thing that's less pretty. But the magical girl thing is very pretty and cute and very like fluffy and adorable shit. But this one is about a girl who turns into the magical girl, but she's a villain.
No.
And she does bondage shit to the heroes. So they're all like, they're all depicted as like high school girls. And it's all softcore. There's no actual, like, sex stuff that goes on. But, like, her creatures are all, like, tentacle monsters that attack the good guys and then hold them up while she spanks them. Or tickles them or something stupid like that. It's fucking ridiculous. It's hilarious. It's so bad it's hilarious. I think it's intended to be that way.
Right.
But
like it's deliberately
that's going to be a lot of the stuff this season. There's a season where a lot of sex jokes are going to be going on.
All right. Good times.
Apparently, Valentine's Day coming up, they like to put a lot of the funny sex shit in there. Which to me seems like a healthier perspective on sex than like we have in the US where people are like, oh God, no sex. Don't put it in the kids' cartoons. And it's like, but you've got people cutting other people into pieces, like you got like fucking brutal, bloody murder and death, and that's fine. But God forbid there be sex. Like teenagers have no idea. They're certainly not dealing with all the fucking weird urges and shit that go with puberty. It's like Japan just is a lot of fucking puberty jokes. Like, the sex jokes equate to being, like, puberty kind of jokes. Where it's like, yeah, I get it. That's for people who are dealing with all that weird shit that they're not ready to they're not fully adult yet. They don't, but they understand what it is, and they're like, want to get in, they want to go out and have sex, but they don't, but it's scary because it's new and all that kind of shit's going on. Like, that's a good age for that kind of humor.
Yeah, I hear you. Noich.
Let's see. Oh, robots. Yeah. But apparently they're closer than ever, the sex robots they were saying on Joe Rogan.
All right.
Yeah. And then there was Japan's fucking earthquake and fucking tidal waves. Not tidal waves, tsunami.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and the tsunamis went everywhere. It wasn't just in Japan, but like they didn't do as much damage other places. Like California had 8 people hospitalized because of the high surf from that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what my mom was talking about. The West Coast.
Yeah, California and Ventura County, 8 people ended up hospitalized because of a really high surf. It wasn't quite tsunami sized, but it was obviously very dangerous nonetheless.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then Russia was worried about their coastline, and a bunch of other places had the real issues with their coastal areas because of the earthquakes in Japan. Yeah. Sup, Smudge?
Hey, Ty's talking about surf and turf?
Yeah. Japan had the earthquake thing on New Year's Day.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was something.
Yeah, I posted a video of like a drone going over, and it's pretty bad. They had some tsunami stuff, but I don't know how bad the tsunami stuff was. But it's like looking at the footage of my town after like the fires. Where it's like, oh yeah, that's all those buildings used to be there. You can tell those used to be buildings. They're definitely not anymore, though. Like, yeah, they used to be a building, but that's definitely not anymore. No, it got destroyed.
Yeah, that I believe.
Oh, you hear they started releasing the Epstein stuff, the Epstein documents.
Yes, I know. I heard about the names.
Are you ready to hear all the false accusations that are coming? Because that's how they're going to try to muddy the waters, is just put out as many accusations against as many people as they can so that nobody knows who's real and who's not. Yeah,
there's going to be a fair bit of that. Not to mention the names that already came out. These are names we already knew.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, well, we already knew that. We saw the pictures.
And then when it came out, Trump, nope.
I mean, you also have to remember,
Trump had nothing to do with Epstein. Thank you.
Okay, well, the other thing to keep in mind is that this is why it's stupid that they're waiting to release these names. They should just release them now. Release them all, because there's 2 things to keep in mind.
Stop it.
What?
No.
Oh, he's talking to his dog. Don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm watching my dog. I'm sorry so much. I should be muting.
No, that's okay.
Apologies.
No, it's okay. But yeah, there's 2 things to keep in mind. Is that the whole thing was designed as a blackmail operation. So it's like they would fly people down there who don't know who this guy is. You just think, oh, wealthy billionaire. How many wealthy billionaires are there? Yeah, there's a fair bit. Some from different parts. And that's usually the pretext to try and get people to come down there. And then they'll just take pictures of them on the island. And that's all you need to do. Yeah, nothing bad needs to actually happen. You could be completely oblivious. And that's how they get you. The whole thing was designed to be a blackmail operation.
Yeah.
It's not something we really know. So then the real question is like, how many of the people who went there actually did stuff to kids? How many of them were just on there thinking that they were having a business conversation, not knowing anything about this guy?
Exactly. We were talking about that too. Yeah, like it's like if you went once and you tried to do something about it, then you're less sus than if you went and you just never said anything to anybody, and then you went again and you went again and you went again and you went again. Like those people that went down there like 16, 20 times, maybe we should probably fucking destroy their lives. Like maybe those people don't deserve to be on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, and that's just the thing. Like, which one actually did something? Yeah. So then the only way we're actually going to get anything known is if some people talk. Now, some of the victims are starting to come forward and talk. So And they
because
did
I
say
could see if you went there once and you had no idea it was kids.
Yeah, no idea, but that's how it is. And so now we're all asking these things. I think who else was on the list that came up? Was it Jason Momoa? Can't remember. There's something
Really?
involving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one thing is I hope is people are willing to put aside political differences, because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what the person's politics are or where they're aligned or who they're aligned with. If
Mm-hmm.
you're one of the Epstein people that went back again and again, you should be fucking dead. Like, like I want you fucking done. I want you out of the public eye. I want you off of TV, out of whatever company you're working for. I don't care what your politics are. Yeah, and I hopefully that's mutual for a lot of people.
Yeah. See, like what we do know is that Epstein and all his buildings, there were like multiple cameras in every room, like on every corner. There was always a camera. So it was, So that means that there's a lot of footage. Now, a lot of this footage was used to blackmail a lot of politicians and celebrities, and people in the higher ups. So then there's clearly evidence, and then of course all this evidence goes missing. Obviously, someone's got the evidence, and we can it's pretty much a guarantee it's not destroyed, because otherwise they're going to release this information. So now a bunch of people are going to be saying it's clearly a nothing burger. There's nothing here. This is all conspiracy. We're wasting our time. A lot of that's going to come forward, but that's partially because
it's like the same with the false reporting. They're going to do as much as they can to muddy the water as much as possible, because they can't prevent the truth from coming out. So that the only chance is to limit the impact on it is to make it so that nobody knows for sure who is and isn't really guilty, to make people feel like they're dumb for believing in any of it. Like, all that kind of shit's going to go on. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane. So it's just a matter of like wait and see at this point. But I foresee that and also we all shouldn't be like flipping our lids and going crazy, because like again, we don't know who did what, and we don't know who's a victim and who's not a victim. And there's going to be a lot of people here defending, or saying that you shouldn't be paying attention. It's like they could be just as blackmailed as anyone else. So I don't know. It's it's very easy to get outraged, because some of the new names, like wasn't it that physicist guy, was Stephen Hawking's? Like he was there. Yeah, apparently he was there. Same thing. It's like I could get mad, but I don't know if he's a victim. I just know he was there. They also said Trump was there. Again, he could have been there. I mean, like, not every business guy knows what other business people are doing.
Trump never went to the island, though. That's the thing that's false.
Yeah,
he took a plane ride with the grandson. I forget, it was either from Florida to New York or New York to Florida. There was never a point at which he went to the island itself.
Yeah, well, see, there you go.
And I think they tried to recruit him in that, to get him to go to the island. And it was, I believe it was after that Epstein ended up getting banned from all his clubs.
Probably. I know, like, they tried to get him. I know he probably was on Epstein's planes. But then again, if you're a business guy, you hop on other people's planes all the time.
Exactly. It's where did you go on that plane? Did you go to Lolita Island? He didn't go to Lolita Island. He went to, like, New York or Florida or something like that.
Exactly.
So that was one of those ones where it's like they're using that as a way to like muddy the waters as well, and they've been doing that one for a while. And it's very frustrating, because it's like different. It's a drastic difference between like Bill Clinton and Trump in there, and the only reason they're protecting Bill Clinton is because he's a Democrat, and the only reason they're going after Trump is because he's a Republican. And it's like, no, can we just go after the monster and leave the rest of the people alone? Like, I don't care about it's not about whether or not Bill Clinton's a Democrat or Republican. It's about he fucked with kids. Like, that's what's not okay.
Yep.
And I hope people realize that that's the part they need to be paying more attention to.
I would certainly hope so, but we have no real way of knowing how people are going to react.
Yeah, I think people are just going to carry like a tally and be like, well, 10 of your guys and 15 of our guys, or like vice versa or whatever. Start counting the numbers between our guys and their guys, and comparing the percentages like that has some sort of fucking relevance.
Yeah, it's hard to know, and
They
also
all
like
use spoons too. Don't use spoons, folks. You'll end up on Epstein's Island. You know.
Yep. So I'd be real curious. I'm more upset that we haven't gotten more names yet. And like I said,
Yeah.
like it'd be easier to just release all the names and have the people say I was a victim, and then we try to assert which one was the victim or not. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. The information is going to come out eventually. You might as well just fess up to it, and then start claiming to be a victim here, because that's probably better than this whole like not coming forward thing. Because if you wait for us to find out, you look more guilty. Unless, of course, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's just my opinions on this whole thing. Like, yeah, they should just come out with it.
I would agree. Yeah, whether you're guilty or not, it's better to just fucking get ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so on a lighter note, does anybody know about the big lie that The Rock keeps telling?
Which one?
Oh,
So,
In-N-Out Burger thing?
In-N-Out Burger. He
I'm not
keeps
familiar.
saying he's gone to In-N-Out Burger for the first time, but if you go back on his Instagram, there's like 3 or 4 other times where he's gone to In-N-Out Burger for the first time. Because it's obviously like a sales thing. He's taken money to sell In-N-Out Burger on his Instagram. And so every so often this is the first time I've ever had In-N-Out. This is amazing. Oh, wow. I see why everybody's into it. And it's fucking ridiculous.
It's not silly. A thing. In-N-Out isn't really a thing here in Canada. So, like, for me, it'd be a first time. The only thing I could think of is that he never went in himself. He always had people go in for him.
No. He says it's the first time he's eaten it.
Yeah.
He's got other videos on his Instagram of him having it prior to that. He keeps doing each time it's a commercial.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, like, maybe, I think this is what he's going to say. I think what he's going to say is that he never went in himself. He always had an assistant, or his girlfriend would go in. They'd go out and get it for him, and then he'd...
As far as I know, I don't think he
would say like, "Oh, no, I've gone through the drive-through." Yeah, like at one point he says, "No, I've gone through the drive-through." Some for other people, but no, I never tried it myself. It's very odd, and especially, dude, he had like a blog or something where he's talking about, and I wasn't even like the lingo of the, and I'm like, it's fast food. It's not that fucking confusing, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's clearly a marketing thing. It seemed very hilarious to me. I just think it's funny that he keeps doing it and nobody ever is like, wait a minute, you've been there 3 other times. What do you mean it's the first time? This is the 4th time, motherfucker.
Yeah, like does he think he hasn't had fans that have been with him for all the other times he said it was his first time?
I think it's
all my
he's one of the celebrities who's getting as much money as he can possibly get out of it. You know what I mean? Where like they do what their publicist tells them to do. They stay out of the public eye as much as possible unless they have a specific agenda. They maximize their profit. I don't have anything against it. I don't care. It's funny to watch.
You're probably
it's disingenuous at least, dude. But
you're probably going to see more of this happening, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's like very few movies getting made right now. Like,
you got to pay for those movie star mansions somehow. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the amount of movies that are in production right now has dropped a fair bit. Like, the only Marvel movie in production right now is Deadpool 3. Nothing else is currently being filmed. Nothing. And that's a pretty drastic sign. And Star Wars, they keep announcing all these new Star Wars projects, and they say, "Oh yes, we have this new director." Now, nothing's in production. Nothing's been greenlit. Nothing is ready to go. They keep talking about this stuff, and then we have all these Disney movies, like these animated ones. They say we're working on this movie and that movie. It's like none of those are actually in production. Nothing. Money has not been gone out. They literally don't have the means to get anything in production. And I'm like, that's bad, because how are you supposed to get this brand going? You literally don't have the money.
Good.
Well,
the hope is that those companies go out of business and somebody else comes in and makes stuff that people actually want.
Well,
I'd love to see Disney fail and go out of business. That'd be the best thing that could possibly happen.
Well, normally I would agree, but there's so much history and infrastructure in there. It would be pretty devastating for a lot of people.
I don't care. That's how capitalism is supposed to work. It never should have gotten that big. It's been supported by government for so long, and that's why it got so big. And it's time to, sooner or later, you got to cut the cord. You know what I mean? You got to be like, all right, let's let them fucking fail, and let other businesses come in and take over. See what happens.
I normally I would agree.
It's like, Ford's a massive company. I'd love to see Ford go out of business. Because, they'll be out of business and people will be out of work for a couple of months, and it'll be brutal. But afterwards, it's going to come back better
the market
than before,
will correct.
and more people will have jobs than had before. So it's the only thing it can do is improve over time. But you can't just never have a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Yes and no. I mean, normally if you let the whole capitalistic system go, then someone else better will come in and make it. That's ideally what would happen. The problem I have with this is that I don't think that's what's going to happen. Disney is sort of propped up by their investors. The number one investors being BlackRock and Vanguard, the same people who are doing all this other nonsense around the world, shaking it up. And essentially,
so if they lose a fuck ton of money because Disney goes out, how is that a bad thing? I mean,
because they're going to buy it up, and then they'll control a huge infrastructure in the movie market. And here's the other thing: is that there's a similar problem going on with Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Is talking about declaring bankruptcy. If that happens, who's going to buy them up? BlackRock and Vanguard. That means they're going to own Disney and they're going to own Warner Brothers and all the movies that they make. That means how are other companies supposed to come in and start up when you have something like that? They'll have this huge juggernaut, and then once they do that, they'll get all these new people.
But eventually they'll run out of money. Like that's the thing. Sooner or later, they're just going to run out of money. The faster that happens, the better.
Yeah. Well, normally I would
agree. If they take over Disney and what was the other one?
Warner Bros.
Warner Bros. They take over Disney and Warner Brothers, and then they grind them out, and they end up throwing all their monof down the tubes. Eventually, they're just going to run out of money, and other companies will come in and start up.
So part of the problem with that is that this whole thing about Disney, because they have this whole progressive thing, the ESG score, diversity, inclusion, that kind of stuff. BlackRock and Vanguard are the ones who set up that policy for investments in these movies and stuff. They're the ones who set that up. And essentially that's designed to bankrupt these movie studios so they can buy them up there and get them for cheap, because that's the idea. And then, once they get...
for years, by the way. I've been saying this shit for years, that they're trying to fucking devalue everything. I've been saying this for a couple of years, dude.
They're devaluing them. They're devaluing them so they can buy them up for cheap, and instead of buying them outright, because we can just destroy them by other means, die them up slowly, and then yes, we may get maybe half a decade of good movies. They'll try to rebuild the brand because they destroyed it, and they're going to redo it, and then they'll come in with some bizarre I don't know what to call it, like a psyop or something, like an operation to fuck up with our minds and shit. I know it's a bit of a conspiracy, but these are people who develop technologies that are kind of hypnotizing and that kind of stuff. I mean, these are super smart people. And so what I'm saying is that we shouldn't let Disney fail, because otherwise the worst that could happen is what I'm getting at here. We need to save Disney, not let it destroy. I agree that they've got too much.
Then BlackRock just gets more money either way and continues on either way.
Well,
there's nothing you can do about BlackRock then. Nothing will make it fail.
Well, no, they're just good. What they have to do is change the method. Essentially, the reason why BlackRock has it is because they invest in a lot of these projects and a lot of these stuff. And part of the reason why they do is
because a lot of these big budget movies.
Yeah, these movies.
But you seem to think that BlackRock has bottomless money.
They kind of do.
But they don't.
Because
because sooner or later they'll eventually just run out of money. Like you can't keep throwing money down a hole.
Well,
forever.
yeah.
I know,
doesn't
but
matter how rich you start.
Yeah, but they have the means to make it work. Like, what I'm saying is that they're not doing this to lose money. They're doing this to gain money and gain influence. And essentially, if you let Disney go under and you let them take it, then they'll have more influence. And that's all I'm saying. It's like we're feeding into the plot to let Disney fall. I don't want Disney to fall. I want it to stand on its own. I don't want to take money from Vanguard or BlackRock or all that kind of stuff. I don't want to take it from the government. I want it to stand on its own and focus on the merit. That's what I want. But if we let it fall, they're going to take it in there, and and then the worst could possibly happen. Same thing with Warner Brothers. This is why these movies need to succeed, and they need to stop appealing to.
I think the too big to fail thing is why we have these mega corporations in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't think it's real. I think it's not. I think that it's flawed thinking, in that we have to keep all of these organizations in place, or everything will go bad. And it's like, no, I think that if they start to fail, other companies will come in and start taking chunks.
Yeah,
and getting bigger and bigger, and you're going to get more and more competition.
If there is another company that can do that, which there isn't.
Well, there's a ton. There's a fuck ton of people out there working on the internet that can do it super cheap.
They could.
We could get a whole nother.
Hold on, listen. There's no one interested in buying Disney, because Disney has ruined their brand so bad. I'm not talking about buying Disney.
I'm talking about just independent companies starting up making films. Like, there's a demand for films, right?
Yeah.
So if Disney's not making them because they fucked everything up and they're going out of business, other people can make films that may not necessarily work right now, but would be able to compete in a market where Disney is going through all this dark time, and start companies up that can start making more and more films eventually. Similar to like the boom of horror films.
Yep.
You might see a boom of other sort of cheap films being made using like newer, cheaper animation and graphics and other stuff like that, and more independent things where it's not like a massive film company. It's a company that makes like 1 or 2 movies every couple of years, starting up and getting pieces of the market because people are just interested in seeing good films, and they finally get a chance to put them into the mainstream while Disney's in flux or failing or whatever process is going on.
Yeah. Normally, I would agree with you. But the ESG thing that I'm talking about, the diversity and inclusion, it doesn't just go with movies. Businesses and corporations do it too. The movie industry also has to apply to that kind of stuff, which means that they have to align with movies that apply with the ESG
if
score.
If they want BlackRock's money.
Disney. Yes, which a lot of them do.
Not every independent company is going to want. A lot of people who are starting businesses now are realizing, hey, I don't want to be incorporated. Hey, I want to keep it private so that I control what my business does. Why would new studios necessarily go only after BlackRock's money and not want to do that?
Because the movie theaters won't let your movie in, because they have to apply the BlackRock for the ESG score. That's what I'm getting at.
Movie theaters are not the only way to do movies anymore. Now you have all these streaming services. You can just sell them directly online. Like there's so many other things that are available that, like, I think that will start to fill more of the market, because like I don't think theaters are doing great right now.
Yeah, normally it would, but unfortunately, there are companies out there are websites, and God bless them. I hope for the best. Like the Daily Wire's been doing their own kind of thing as well. They have their own set of movies, their own streaming service.
Daily Wire's movies are fucking terrible.
There's the problem.
They're all written they're all written to be just as ideological as the left-wing bullshit you're getting out of Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right, but the ones that are being produced, they're not at the same level. They're not doing the same thing. And then, not to mention, there's not many people know about them. Like, there's the horror streaming service called Shudder. And it's interesting, but a lot of shit on there is terrible. And same thing with all these other independent stuff. It takes time to build up things and to get the talented people to come in there, because a lot of really talented people are having a hard time getting in there, and they have to deal with low budgets. They can't really make it work. A lot of people are struggling. We're in a time when people don't know what to do, can't make it work, and it doesn't quite work. So not to mention, if you do start your own stuff, a lot of people don't know this stuff. There was that one really popular movie by Angel Studios called The Sound of Freedom. and that got out there. But boy, it was hard to get that movie out.
Oh yeah,
Hard to
I'm
get
not
it
saying
out.
it's easy. Yeah, no one's saying it's
Yeah.
a downhill fight. It's just I think we need to get to let these big companies fall and go by the wayside in the long term. I think that's better.
Well,
Just
normally
in
I'd
general.
say, yeah, normally I
Oh no,
would
yeah.
say,
Normally, I know you don't agree. We don't agree. We're
Well-
each making our point. Like, yeah.
yeah. I'm just saying that we that's not the position we live in, unfortunately.
In your opinion, then
normally,
my opinion is different. Yeah, like we're just not going to agree. I don't. Yeah, it's kind of.
yeah. No,
Yeah, and there's been movies fairly recently that haven't had a huge budget that have done very well. So it's not like it's impossible to have a smaller budget and be successful.
Yep. Yeah,
And to be fair, it
people that are
doesn't
going
take
to be
Disney
able
going
to-
out of business for other companies to start anyway. Like other companies are starting. So,
Yep.
like the
Yep.
Daily Wire one. Although the Daily Wire one is an unfortunate situation because I don't know if you've watched any of their films, but it's
Yeah, they're pretty awful.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
I've seen a few things. They are not great. They are not great.
Somebody really needs to tell their writer, you show things in a visual medium, you don't fucking say them. Because my god, the number of points where they're like, oh yeah, and the character says something in order to like make a point, and they don't actually show it instead is just absurd. It's hard to watch.
that is a problem with conservatives in general. They're not very good storytellers. They're very good business people. They're very good workers. They're very good logical thinking people. But when you're dealing with things like art and filmmaking and that kind of stuff, these are people who work in things in abstract ways to tell a story and all that, and make things creative so that way it resonates with people. Conservatives are not very good at that.
No.
And it shows.
Well, the ones at Daily Wire definitely are not. I'm not going to paint everyone in the same light, but in general, I would agree with that.
Like, if you look at some of the best, like some of the more popular artists who make a lot of money and get a lot of stuff out there, they're very liberal based. Very liberal based. Even if you take away the politics, that they have a very good liberal thing. Even when I talk to like other artists and stuff, when I'm out there in different groups and everything, I can't even tell you how many of them are actually conservatives. Most of them, they almost all identify as liberal-minded stuff. And if you look at people on the creative spectrum, like Jordan Peterson, even when I was talking about this kind of stuff, you're saying, look at people of the creative spectrum, they're all liberal-minded. And I think that's just kind of how it is. I mean, conservatives, and also they're not very funny.
They're not all liberals.
No.
There's some very, very well-known, extremely talented art people who are conservative.
Yes, there are. There are. I'm just saying, like, the majority.
The majority, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The majority.
Yeah, that's the majority. It's like they say about businesses. Like liberals are good at coming up with an interesting idea and starting. Conservatives are better at continually
executing and maintaining a status
and liberals
quo.
Tend to not be.
Yeah, like conservatives are very good at business and work and that kind of stuff. Not so much on the creative front.
Yeah.
Which honestly, that
doesn't there's exceptions.
Yeah, there's always an exception
to everything.
Exactly, and that doesn't really bother me. It's just an observation for the most part.
Yeah.
But that's why I always promote the idea of don't get into politics. Like, I think conservatives and liberals actually work
keep
very
your
well.
art out of politics. There's no wrong being involved in politics as long as your art is separate from your politics.
Well, don't make it the main focus. I mean, there's a lot of good messages to be told.
No matter what, your opinions and beliefs regardless of politics, just across the board, are always going to have some reflection in any sort of art you make.
Yeah.
There's always going to reflect some of your beliefs. But yeah, like if you could do your best to keep your political stuff out of your art stuff, that's usually because you don't want to alienate half your audience. It's essentially what you want to avoid.
Well, in my understanding of filmmaking in general, because when you're making a movie, it's very collaborative, and the artists, like the artists people are people like the directors and the actors. and they're trying to convey something.
And the writers.
But it's and the writers as well. And the people who are more conservative oriented, usually the producers. Sometimes they're also the directors as well, because they have to try and you have to manage all these people.
Occasionally the actors. There are some very conservative actors out there, but they're not super common.
Yeah, but like my thing has always been like filmmaking being a collaborative effort, and then you need people who are conservative to make sure the liberal people don't get out of hand and do something absolutely insane that balloons the budget of the movie and stuff. You need to keep them grounded, and the liberals people and all that need to be there to make sure that it's all it's still as whimsical as it needs to be.
Yeah, there's still an element of entertainment involved.
That I think that creatively.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just the last point here is that it's better that they work together and keep the politics out, because that creates a better product. And I think that most movies work better as a collaborative thing. That's why I love movies.
20 years ago, people could have political discussions without wanting to strangle each other because they were on different sides of the political lines. You could be a conservative and hang out with a liberal and no one cared. Like, it wasn't a big deal. You didn't get mad at each other. You just worried about other things.
Oh yeah, because there's more.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking enjoy movies together, and that's hang out and enjoy movies or comics or video, whatever it was. So.
Yeah, well, and there's always something that we can always agree on, and movies is one of those great unifying art mediums. I think movies are always a wonderful thing, but nowadays they've sort of like ousted all the conservatives out of Hollywood. There's like no conservative there. It's all liberal.
Yeah,
and that's
there's
the
no
problem.
one to say like that's a terrible idea. No one wants to watch that. You're gonna lose money.
And look at these movies. Like they've ballooned out of control. I mean, a lot of these are $300-400 million movies, and it's like there are some people like you could do like Deadpool, for example. I think they only used like $10 million. So look how much money that movie made. It's like you don't need to do it, and that's partially because they did very little reshoots.
Because they maintained it true to the source material. They wanted to have an interpretation, of course, but they wanted it to be as true to the source material as was feasible given the different medium.
Well, and the other thing is
they were like, we don't want to be a totally different thing. We want to be Deadpool. So that's what made it so popular. Because it already had a fan base, and they were like, "Oh no, this is Deadpool. Okay, cool, we love it." And that's
well that and the other thing is like they had a very very small budget. They could not afford to do like extensive reshoots, which is what they do in most Marvel movies. It's like you got your script, you have to hammer out the script, make sure it works, and then it's like do what you can, make the movie.
Oh yeah, look at the what was it? The Justice League, Justice League, the DC one, where you had the movie come out and it was terrible, but they did so many reshoots that like they released a different movie entirely, and it was the same people and it was great, and it was fucking bizarre because it was just like, wow, you had so many options to make a film that could have been so different in so many ways just in editing. Like, it's insane how much of a difference that kind of stuff can make. Like that's got to cost so much money because, like, they essentially filmed, like, probably the equivalent of, 3 or 4 movies in total of material? You know? Like, it's insane. That's a lot of fucking money you're throwing down the drain.
Yeah. That'll happen. And that kind of stuff keeps happening because they keep trying to make things work. Like, 'cause I don't know if you heard about the last Transformers movie, but that was a travesty and a half.
Oh, I watched it. It was fucking awful. The one with the monkey, the beast animal guys.
Yeah.
There was a scene. I doubt you're worried about spoilers because I wouldn't recommend watching it. There was a scene where there's an item that is the last thing on Earth that will let the Transformers communicate or ever go home to their home planet ever again. And this guy, a human, has a chance to destroy it, and if he destroys it, it means the Decepticons will never be able to find our planet, will never harm us, and it'll keep us safe from the Decepticons forever. And he's looking at, like, well, fuck you, like 5 robots. I'm gonna, protect my planet. And they're like, no, please don't. And he's like, oh, okay. And that's all of it. That's everything that happened. He
There's
just ran
so
off a little way and was like, I'm gonna break it. And they're like, oh no, please. And he's like, oh, I guess it's wrong. No, okay. I think that's such. It was.
So they're
awful.
basically like,
It was
so
awful.
they basically just like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, never
Instead
mind.
of like having a big scene where he's like, look, I understand that you're afraid, but you have to trust that me and my people, we can protect you. We can fight back against these guys, and if you do this, you're taking our chance to win our own planet back for our people. And like a big, long, interesting dialogue could have been there that would have made way more sense. It was just so fucking awful.
yeah.
Dude, it reminds me of the you remember where they took that old movie thing on his tongue or whatever, Kung Pao into the fist. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Kung Pao into the fist. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Well, they do it as a fucking joke in the thing where the guy says no, and then he's just like, "I implore you to reconsider," and then the guy's just like, "Okay," like, you know what I mean, as a fucking joke. But it sounds like Transformers was like, "No, we're just gonna do that."
Yeah.
That's fucking bizarre. Do it like in a serious fucking way.
Yeah.
Oh, guys. Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
So
What
this
was
the,
the-
like,
oh,
the
go ahead.
Transform. Yeah, I was just gonna say the Transformer movie had like a terrible production history because what it started off with is that they announced 2 Transformers movie, a sequel to the Bumblebee, and a Beast Wars movie. Now I'm a Beast Wars fan because I grew up in the '90s. That was my thing. But then I guess somewhere down the line they decided, well, this isn't financially feasible, so we're just going to merge both movies together. So it's literally 2 separate movies. But then of course, like, they didn't need the lead writer for either one of those movies, so they fired them and then got someone new to piece it all together. And this is all while they're still filming.
Oh,
So
no.
so they're piecing it all together while he's filming, and he's in there. And apparently, the third guy couldn't get it to work, so he went off so they had to hire someone else to do his stuff. And so by the end of it, they went through 5 different lead writers, and then they had 4 different directors because they were all because they all put the names on, like the original directors from the OG from the other movies they were working on. So we had like multiple directors, multiple writers. No one could figure out how to make it work. On top of all that, you have all these producers who are insisting we want to see this, and this in the movie, and they have to take in some of their suggestions, which is partially why, like, if you ever watched like Bumblebee, you got to see the original Transformers characters, and they look fantastic from the originals, and they're all in Rise of the Beast. They all have different outfits, different actors, different looks, different origins. Wheeljack is like a Mexican for some reason, even though he's clearly a white dude in the last movie. Like, what? And a Mexican with like glasses and suspenders. Like, what? Why?
Oh,
we saw you in the last movie. You did not look this way, and you were older. You sounded like a man, not some fucking Mexican twink.
Yeah, they I think Transformers is one of those things where it's like you just can't get good sequels after a while. Sometimes you get a second movie in a series and it's good.
Well,
but that's not very common.
I think
even rarer still, a third movie and it's good. But once you get into the realm of like 4th and 5th, you're always looking at trash. Like it's Transformers is no different than any other set of movies that just went that far. Like, like the last fucking like Beverly Hills Cop went, first movie was great, second movie was good but not great. The third movie was just fucking ridiculous. Like, it was just terrible. You could point to any number of movie franchises like that. Like Home Alone. Home Alone, the first movie, amazing. Home Alone 2, it was good. It was, watchable. As soon as it went after that, it was just terrible after that. And I don't know how many movies they made off of it.
Well, part of the reason for these movies being as bad as they are, because they are, I think the first one's bad. I mean, it's still good and entertaining, but it was like the only one they actually put any effort in. And The reason for that is because Michael Bay, he was tasked to do, and he really wanted to do a GI Joe movie, and that's exactly what he was doing. He even had actors ready to go, and then Hasbro thought, well, no, we can't do that because it was shortly after like 9/11 or something in the Iraq War, so we don't want to promote war. So instead of that, they changed things to Transformers, but Michael Bay still wanted to do GI Joe, so he said, okay, fine, I'll do this, and then I'll do GI Joe. Well, obviously that didn't work because you notice that all the military stuff they had in these movies. It's like he wanted to keep that connection because he wanted to make the GI Joe movie, and he wanted to be very military based and all that stuff. So that's why it was designed the way that it was.
Sense.
Yeah, but of course, as you can tell, that never happened, and he stopped caring after each movie. Each movie, he didn't care about the script. He didn't care about nothing. In fact, there was like a writer's strike. During the production of the third movie, so Michael Bay just thought, oh, fuck it, I could write it. So, I mean, he just sort of did his own thing. Like, the movie still made money because it looked good, but it was a terrible movie. And then by the fourth one, they were going to give it to someone else and be done with Michael Bay, but then he had, like, lawyers and stuff so he can come in and finish it. So he did, like, the fourth movie, even though it was pretty much already started by someone else. I think because they were going to get, like, the Chinese government was going to be involved in the movie, like they were going to get their directors and their people in charge. And Michael Bay came in. It was just a travesty, just a terrible movie. And now Hasbro has a new people in charge, new CEOs and all that, and they think Dungeons and Dragons is the way to go. So they don't even want to make any more Transformers anything. They from what I've heard, they've cut back on their.
Interestingly enough, the Dungeons and Dragons movie was actually pretty good. Very enjoyable. But
it was okay.
Well, even compared to everything else that's been out lately, it was good. I suppose is a better way of putting it. Because like in a sea of garbage, it was like, oh, that turd's much shinier. But financially, it just made no money. Like apparently, from what I understand, they just did not make any money back on that. So I don't know if they're going to make any more.
They are.
Did not do great.
So the people in charge of Hasbro. They used to work at Microsoft, and their claim to fame was introducing the microtransactions feature into Microsoft.
So they're never going to stop putting out garbage.
Yeah, well, they are convinced that the future is Dungeons and Dragons. They are convinced, they mostly because that's their background. Because the closest thing that they have to their back, because they worked on like the Fable series and other such things, so they know that kind of stuff. But the other reason why a lot of these people were promoted into their jobs is because during the pandemic, they worked at Wizards of the Coast, doing like the Magic the Gathering kind of stuff, and during the pandemic, people were at home playing card games and other kinds of stuff and board games and shit. So they made a lot of money for Hasbro, and that's why they were promoted to the job of like CEO. But that's because they essentially didn't have to do anything. People were stuck at home. Of course, they were playing Magic the Gathering. Well, what else were you going to do? Play? Yeah. So like they got promoted because they made a lot of money, but anyone could have been in that position and made a lot of money.
Yeah,
so,
it wasn't about their decisions. It was just the nature of the beast.
Exactly. So we have people who should not be in charge running the business, and they don't know anything about Transformers or the Marvel kind of stuff. And so, like they're saying, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Do whatever. So they're doing nothing. The only thing out right now is what's currently in production, which is like a Transformers animated movie. After that, there's no plans on doing anything more. Even though a fucking Beast Wars movie would make a ton of money, but they don't know anything about Beast Wars, or Transformers. Only thing they know is video games, which is they're promoting a Dungeons and Dragons game, and they're looking at Baldur's Gate, which is like based on Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And they're looking at how much money that made, so they think the money is in Dungeons and Dragons, and I think they're gonna. It might work, but I don't think so.
Because by accident they hire people that make a great movie, it could work, but I don't think that's likely.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, if they were to focus on things that making it, I'm going to use this phrase, manly, because a lot of people like masculine men. Like if they made a movie and made it loosely like Conan the Barbarian, it could make money.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
actually- like if they could make a proper Conan the Barbarian movie, it fucking would bring in money, man.
That's what people want to see. They just want to go see some crazy, ridiculous shit for an hour and a half and forget about their world. They don't want to like go and be reminded of all the shit that's fucking wrong. Anyway, before we get into anything else, we should probably call it. We're about 15 minutes over.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't do any conspiracy theory rants. Yay!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the conspiracy theories are fun though. So, but anyway, yeah. So, if anybody that's still watching, thank you for coming.